Well, we are literally just a couple of minutes now away from starting racing here for this second session of the first full day of competition here at the British Cycling National Track Championships. And you're in for a real treat this evening. 5 finals to be contested, women's and men's individual pursuit. The women's sprint for the semi-final stage. That's the first action on the track very shortly. Men's team sprint as well. The first time that a lot of us have seen the mixed paracycling 10-kilometre scratch race. Alongside me, Charlie Jones, we've seen some scintillating competition earlier today, some great times recorded for those men's and women's pursuits. Which one are you looking forward to in particular? I know which one are you?
Okay, so it's just so hard because I'm really looking forward to all the finals, of course. However, if I was to pick, I am going to say the women's pursuit, actually, because it's so close. You've got Nia Edmonds and Morris there who qualified for the 3:29. Wasn't that 3:29 that we got? Go for that gold medal ride-off. And then for the bronze as well, both riders posted a time of 3:33, so that's going to be gripping. I'm really excited for that.
Yep, certainly will be a great competition. Well, I'm actually going to go for the pursuit as well, but for the men's pursuit. And the reason I'm going to go for that one is we saw an incredible ride from Dan Bigham this morning, who beat the national record of John Archibald by almost 4 seconds in the first round of competition today. He's managed against Charlie Tanfield, another ace individual and team pursuiter. I think that's going to be a real battle for the gold and silver medals. And who knows, we might see that national record number for once again this evening. So I'm going to be particularly looking forward to that one. But as with everyone else here, the Geraint Thomas National Velodrome of Wales, you will have a great programme of racing, whichever bit you enjoy the most. And all we want you to do is have a great time and make as much.
Good evening and welcome to the 2022 British Cycling National Track Championships from Newport in South Wales. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Ukraine, but for now we are in the Geraint Thomas Velodrome bringing you live coverage over the next few days as we see the competitors battle it out for the coveted national stripes. Session 2 this evening we'll see the women's sprint, the men's team sprint, the women's pursuit, and for the first time para mixed scratch race and the men's pursuit. I'm Brian Smith, and joining me over these championships is Rebecca Charlton, former championship competitor, as we guide you through the next few days with exciting few days of track cycling. We have Olympic, World, European and former national championship stars here to greet us over the next few days. So we're in for a treat tonight. If you missed this afternoon, we've got some really good track cycling here in Newport for you. So welcome to Cymru, as they say locally. I've been educated in how to say that, so it's going to be a fantastic night of racing. And you know, the first up will be the women sprinters, and Rebecca, we've been spoiled this afternoon with some talent and some really local talent as well.
We certainly have, and I must just say before we go any further how brilliant it is to be back here at the British National Championships over in Wales, because of course last year we didn't have any championships due to COVID postponing the Olympics and then subsequently the dates of the championships. So yeah, it's been held in Manchester, we were musing over earlier, weren't we, since 1995, and this is the first time it's come to Wales at the Geraint Thomas Velodrome, and we continue the action tonight after some really exciting qualifying rounds earlier today and yesterday.
Yeah, so first up is the women's sprint. We are now in the semi-finals. We have Ryan Edmonds, 18-year-old for Team Wales, and she is in the white helmet on the outside. Laurie Thomas, 22, again for Team Wales. So Team Wales have done well as Edmonds leads off. The 18-year-old, third in the Keirin World Championships in the junior last year in 2021. Locally from Newport. She's in the white helmet and the black helmet at the front. Laurie Thomas, 22-year-old from Abergavenny. Not too far from where we are now, and it should be a close match Ryan Edmunds rides also for the British Cycling Academy, and for the moment she's learning the craft of track cycling. She's done well so far. She was the fastest qualifier in the 200-metre time trial, and she's not giving Lowry Thomas an inch here. She's trying to cajole her here to leading her out, but Thomas having none of it. She's trying to kind of push her down, kind of diving up the track, diving down again, trying to force her into leading her out. So up the track goes Edmonds, trying to get a little bit of height. So Lowry Thomas is committed. She's inside that black line, inside the last 200 metres. And look at that. Ryan Edmonds comes up alongside, goes a long way round the track, and has enough power to come down the finishing straight to take it 1-0. That was sheer power in the end by Edmonds, Rebecca.
Yeah, Ryan Edmonds, a stunning ride there, and you mentioned her qualifying time. She topped the 200-metre flying table earlier on today with a time of 10.945. Really impressive start to the day, and she's continued that through the heats, through the match sprints, and another textbook ride there, perfection.
It was just sheer power in the end. I don't think Lowry Thomas could do much about that one. You know, it's a case of, you know, the best out of 3, but I don't think there's anything stopping Edmonds, but you know, she'll come back out and try. So the second semi-final is between Sophie Capewell. We're just seeing it again here. It's just sheer power. I don't think many people have come round the outside. I think in the qualifying, in the quarter-finals, I think we had one rider came round, and it was only a matter of centimetres in the end, but that was just sheer power in the end from Ryan Edmonds.
It was. It's a hard and long way round, and as you say, power won it on the line there.
So just starting the next semi-final is Sophie Capewell from Team Breeze, 23-year-old from Lichfield. Emma Finnegan, 20-year-old from Carmarthen, also rides for a British Cycling. So Capewell and Finnegan. So very difficult to see Wales both in reds and Team Breeze. But yeah, this is going to be a close one, this one.
Yeah, we've got the red of Team Breeze versus the red of Wales here, and it's Sophie Capewell of Team Breeze just keeping her on her hip, on her shoulder there. You can just see the tactical game of cat and mouse playing out in this match sprint as they wind it up now with the bell lap.
Yeah, and it's Team Breeze. Capewell leads this one out, but she's not committed. She comes down in sight, and she'll want to leave it late and possible, but she pops out that red line there, and yeah, not supposed to do that, but at the end, Finnegan, has she got enough to come round? No, she hasn't. She loses that one by half a wheel, and you know, we'll wait for confirmation on that. Once you commit yourself to the sprint inside the last 200 metres, you can see that she just kind of popped out the red line, but yeah, we'll wait for the judges calling that one. Team Breeze take that one with Sophie Capewell. It's only down to half a wheel, but as we say, we'll wait for confirmation on that. A close-fought contest, but for now, it's a win for Sophie Capewell.
Yeah, and a brilliant lunge to the line there for her, making that difference as well, just giving her that little bit more of a gain. And two riders, as we've said before, are really, really close. And when you look at the qualification earlier, you know, these times were very tight in between. Sophie Capewell, though, actually qualifying second. Again, one of two riders to get sub-11, a time of 10.968. But it all comes down to this tactical game now with the heats and the matches of 1, 2, 3, if there's a decider.
So we're going to move on to the next event, and it's a team event. Just setting up the sponges on the inside of the track on the Côte d'Azur, and it will be the semi-final of the team sprint. And we see the sponges, it's pretty much to keep people off the Côte d'Azur and keep them on the track, Rebecca.
It absolutely is. And I've actually often been asked whether or not it makes that much difference if you were to hit one, but essentially it's never going to give you a gain, is it? You know, whether it's a legal manoeuvre or not onto the Côte d'Azur, you don't want to slow yourself down by hitting a sandbag.
Well, in my day, yeah, you just mentioned it there. It was a sandbag. You don't want to be hitting a sandbag, but I think health and safety come in there, and it's just the sponges. Yeah, it's pretty much to keep the riders, off that Côte d'Azur, and they just place them in the team sprint a little bit on the home and the back straight, and the pursuit or team pursuiting, they're all the way around the track, and you cannot go into the Côte d'Azur. You can see the black line. That's the fastest way around the track in the bottom. They call that the datum line, and the next one up is the sprinters line, which we're already mentioned, and the difference between them going round the track is about 5.7 metres more. So to go round the track on the red line compared to the black line, so sometimes sprinters who want to take it on from the front will prefer to do that and push the other rider to come round the long way. But also you have to factor in the fact that you've got the slipstream, and you see a lot of the riders in sprinting, they'll leave a little bit of a gap and they'll dive into that gap and use that slipstream. So it's a tactical thing. Either you want to go to the tactics or you want to just go sheer power.
It certainly is. We've seen some tactical masterclasses throughout the heats and qualification earlier today, indeed, because we've seen riders maybe lose match one and come back with a completely different tactic, which is what makes a sprinting on the velodrome just so thrilling to watch.
Well, this is semi-final one. This is Benjamin Gill, Bo Mayer, Sam Smith from Enhanced, and they're in the home straight. In the back straight you have Glasgow Track Racing Club B team, and you have Lyle Craig, Jack Cruden and Jeremy Franks. This is not match team sprinting. This is fastest two winning teams go for gold and silver. The medal ride between the third and fourth fastest. The first rider in the inside, the start number one, and we're talking about gearing, and throughout these championships that rider will ride maybe between a 95, 96 inch gear. The other two riders are between maybe 104, 106. They'll leave that gap, and it's a big, when you leave a big gap like that, it's very, very difficult. You don't get that kind of slingshot effect. So for the moment, it looks as if Enhanced are up in this one.
Yeah, rider number one looking forward all the way, unleashing the absolute pure power. They have to be chosen as rider number one out of that gate, and then it's the job of the other two riders behind to get it absolutely right in the team sprint. It's such a short, fast event, but so much happens. Yeah,
well, Enhanced were the fastest of the two, and no doubt they're going to get this one by a considerable margin, almost half a second at this level. They're happy with this. They come into this fourth fastest, so they'll be looking to keep that position or as close to the top four to try and kind of battle out for the medal. What sort of medal it will be, you can see just what it means to these guys. We've explained a little bit throughout today. We'll explain again that not all of these at the championships are professional track riders. Some are semi-professionals. We go down to amateurs, and some of the funding isn't there for a lot of the top teams. We have got Team Inspired, Team Breeze, which are British Cycling Academy, and it's obviously very difficult for these riders, but they come here. It's a privilege for them to ride in the championships, and Team Enhanced have done pretty well here with Benjamin Gill, Bo Mayer and Sam Smith.
Yeah, and privilege really is the right word, isn't it? Because if you look at what it means to take such a highly coveted national jersey away from these championships, it's really special, especially after having a year off of the championships altogether, to come back and go for the fight for those jerseys, those medals and those podium positions. But as you say, Brian, we've got real strength and depth and different kind of riders within this field, people that are going for personal bests, for qualification times, for Commonwealth Games. So those jerseys are coveted, but there's races within the race as well.
And we had a gap here, and it's affected people in different ways. I know that even some of the Scottish athletes, we've got an athlete coming over from triathlon into cycling just last October, and all of a sudden she's here at the national championships, and it's just amazing to see. And we've got also in the medal kind of ride-offs, people that have got full-time jobs. I know there's a qualified doctor that worked in ICU throughout the whole COVID, and so it's very difficult. And what their form is like, it's been a long time since they've been, they can do the numbers, they can do the training, but You know, next up in the semi-final 2, we have on the home straight, we have Glasgow Track Racing Team A, and that's Lucius Arthur, Niall Monks and Anthony Young. In the back straight in the black, you've got Thomas Alcock, Harry Radford and Matthew Roper.
And we've often used this term rushing the gap, especially when it comes to the team sprint competition. And it's because I think as riders we're quite often spending a lot of time trying to pin ourselves exactly onto the wheel as close as we can in front to save energy. But the team sprint, as we've seen so far, is just such a nuanced event where actually getting the gap exactly right, timing it to perfection, can make or break a ride.
You'll find rider number 1 who's in the gate, it's his job just to get up to speed, to get the team up to speed, and so he'll just focus pretty much on doing this lap as fast as he can. He's in a slightly smaller gear, you can see the cadence of the riders, but looking at bike black line, it looks as if they're two spreads. Man 3 should be a lot closer like this, so it does look as if Glasgow Track Racing Team A have got a bigger advantage here. Looking down there is still a bigger difference between black line here, so it does look as if we have Glasgow Track Racing Team A that are going to take this. It's a big ask for black line to do it now.
Yeah, some big gaps to make up there, just looking at the different kind of starts that they both had, but that rider number 1 is just absolutely out the gate, head down, unleashing the power, and then it's the job behind to rush that gap to perfection. But yeah, very, very easy for us to say, very hard to get it right.
Yeah, just look at that time, 46.241 for Glasgow Track Racing Club A team, so they will go first. So we do have 4 teams yet to come, but Glasgow Track Racing Club have put them, the A team, they came here with 3 teams, so it looks as if their A team could be fighting it out for a medal. What colour it'll be, we'll have to wait, but we have got some fast teams yet to come. Team East Midlands, who were second quickest this morning or this afternoon, and Team Inspired are the fastest, but only 0.923 between them. Can they make up a difference? So we'll see in the next semi-finals, but the next semi-final up, semi-final 3, will be between Team East Midlands, who last year won the under-23 gold medal at the European Championships, so a well-gelled team, and hopefully they'll push Team Inspired hard. And the Macchio team will be in this next heat, semi-final 4. We'll see the fastest this afternoon, Team Inspired versus SES Racing. So 2 to go with the Glasgow Track Racing Club A in the leading position.
It was an interesting point you made, Brian, about the size of the gearing, because you've got to get that, again, very, very right as to when you're coming out the gate, which number you are in the rider formation, because getting a gear of that size up to speed quick enough to really get the maximum is not an easy task. And you can see quite often that rider number 1 especially is using what I would refer to as clips and straps, as well as clipping their feet into the pedal, because as you can imagine, just going on a dead weight out of a static start gate and just putting the sheer power through the pedals that's required to turn the gear that is expected in this event is putting a lot of pressure through those pedals, and they don't want to pull a foot out.
We're just talking about gearing, and there's different disciplines, different gearing, and just during the interval between this afternoon and the evening sessions, I was talking to Ernie, the British cycling mechanic who's been there 23 years now, and he just said the gearing's getting bigger and bigger. In his words, Laura Kenny wouldn't get out of bed unless she was riding a 104 or 106 inch gear. And then Dan Bigham earlier on was in a huge gear in his pursuit. So yeah, it's all about power, it's all about the gears, getting it over, getting on top of it. But what he did say is, track riders are getting stronger and stronger these days.
That certainly is the case, and looking at the programme, especially with some riders going away and having a little bit of a different focus during the pandemic when they haven't been fielding racing, and I know that's included a lot of gym work as well for many.
You can just see already Team East Midlands, half a second up after one lap, and these are doing the one lap really, really quickly, so half a second is a massive difference. and it's almost, you know, doubled now, even further up. And this looks like a walkover. But where are they going to finish compared to the Glasgow Track Racing Club A team, as the last rider is on his way? And see what time down the finishing straight, and they will take this 44.384. That's a very, very respectable time, and takes, you know, a big chunk out of you know, Glasgow Racing and also DiMaggio, and looks like they're going to be down in second place for the moment. So a good start there from Team East Midlands, and you can see that they've trained a lot together, haven't they, Rebecca?
Yeah, and again, with the unknown of having a year off this championships, but, you know, with a lot of riders having not been near pinning a number on, being able to have the opportunity to race, you wonder how much the squads have had a time and a chance to actually train and gel together, which of course is so important in something like the team sprint. And you can see the riders that have had that training day in, day out together. And Team East Midlands there, I mean, the immense talent in there, young rider talent, but experience already, and the likes of James Bunting. It was a very, very neat ride, and that sort of experience and training together and gelling just really starts to show at this level.
Yeah, we're just looking at the results, and Team East Midlands are 44.384. DiMaggio there 48.633, but I think with a 46 Glasgow Track Racing Club, it never came up in the graphics there, but they're sitting in second place with 2 teams yet to go. This is the fastest against the slowest earlier on this afternoon. So Team Inspired is the team of Jack Carling from Paisley, I have to say that. Ali Fielding, Team Inspired, and Joe Truman. And these are the guys that set the bench back this morning. SAS Racing have got Simon Schmidt, Casper Stadler and Lee Staples. So this will be the 4th and final heat. So as we stand, it looks as if we have East Midlands in the box seat at the moment is number 1. Number 2, Glasgow Track Racing Club A. So as we see from the graphic, Rebecca, you know, we have, you're right, 3, but we saw 4 up there. You're allowed to enter 4 riders in this race, but race 3.
Yes, so we see teams come in with a reserve rider or riders that switch around, and yeah, of course 3 riders end up riding through and into the final. You can only have 3 on the track, but yeah, that's why we see 4 often sign on with reserve riders. Anyone that hasn't followed the career so far of Jack Carlin, of course, he took bronze and silver medals at the recent Tokyo Olympic Games.
Yeah, that's the rider in the middle, so he'll go man 2. He never rode earlier this afternoon, so I was going to say he looks totally rested, but I saw him warming up there and he had a big red face on him because it's warm in this velodrome.
It certainly is. We're very warm, aren't we? But it does make a difference to the riders, of course, the heat of the velodrome.
So the team to beat is from Team East Midlands, 44.384. Can the men in green be inspired and take the lead to ride off of the gold and silver?
You can just see the start there, can't you, of Team Inspired?
Yeah, that's what you want. That's the perfect gap if you're looking at it, and Jack Carlin knows this, and just watch him go now. He's just accelerating round the banking, and Team SES here are pretty much all over the place, and you know, there's a difference whether you're going to do it or not, but they have to be very careful here. You're talking about a time now, and they're just about to catch the team of SES, so I hope they have to keep their wits about them, because if they swing up, we've seen accidents like this happen before, but it's all about the tenths of a second now, and Team Inspired have to keep going for the time. It's all about the time, and just going round a long way there would have cost them a little bit as they come up and finish with a 44.332.
And even with this level of experience and riders of this calibre, as you say, Brian, we do see incidents with riders on the absolute rivet with their head down, and accidents happen when there's a catch to be made. So yeah, no assumptions on keeping it safe there.
Well, in a discipline, it can go down to the hundreds of a second. You can see them backing off a little bit in the end. and that was Joe Truman. He didn't know what to do, but they finished with a 44.332 against East Midlands, who finished with a 44.384 to sort of see them safely into the final to ride off the gold and silver. But you're always wary about these things. We saw it in the Olympics, where the Danish ran up the back of the British in team pursuit, and we don't want to see that. So you can see it was a wary that the rider was automatically going to ride up in the catch. I don't think I've ever seen a catch in a team sprint before. It's such a short event, but when you post up riders that do it completely for a living, these are professional athletes against people that probably do a day's work, 9 to 5 days and get limited time. That's the difference. But like you say, national championships is about here turning up, representing your team and just doing your best.
Yeah, and you could just see the absolute calibre and class there, couldn't you? Smooth from start to finish, and yeah, it would have affected their time coming round there, but kept things safe and mightily impressive times. I'm very, very excited to see this final later on today. It's going to be exciting indeed. But as you say, team inspired, professional athletes, full-time athletes, and indeed the reigning champions from the last time the champs were held 2 years ago. So defending that title.
Well, only 500s on time between Team Inspired and Team Midlands, and you would think that going into the gold silver medal ride-off that Team East Midlands have to be inspired that they're so close, but I think they all realise that Team Inspired are the team to beat there, because they had to overtake. So yeah, we're up for a treat later on, but for now we're back to the women's sprinting.
So for anyone following the match sprint, perhaps for the first time, it's not all over in one heat, is it? You have a chance to go against your opponent again, pull something else out of the bag, and we've got Rhiannon Edmunds and Lowry Thomas back on the boards again, and it was Rhiannon who put in a staggering 200-metre qualifying time this morning to seed herself very well indeed, but has put such a display of tactical nous and pure power out there on the boards so far in this sprint competition.
I think a dominant performance from Rhiannon Edmonds, put a 1-0 up. Lowry Thomas, what does she have to do? She's the stronger rider by the looks of things, and looking from the qualification earlier on today, surely she has to take this on from the front and at least kind of try that again. I know that round the last bank, and Rhiannon Edmonds, the 18-year-old from locally from Newport, had the power to do that, but what tactics can she use here to try and beat and take it to the decider?
Yeah, and I think when you're starting the day with something on paper like qualification times, when you can clearly see that somebody's a certain amount above you against the clock, that's psychologically a very hard place to come from. And when you go into the match sprints and perhaps heat one doesn't go your way, I think, like you say, you have to pull every trick out of the book to try and outsmart your opponent. And that's what I love about the match sprint, because it is not over till it's over, and it's not always the strongest on paper that wins. So you're absolutely right, she's got to try everything.
Yeah, well, she tries to gain the height, but Edmonds was up for that. Both of them are inside the finishing straight now. What has Thomas got left? Not enough to beat Edmonds there, and Edmonds will take that 2-0. So the local youngster will go into the final. She'll be happy with that, and you have to think that the strongest rider there. You could have used some different tactics there, but I don't think there was anybody that could beat Rhiannon Edmonds there. That was a strong performance.
Yeah, it was going to be a really, really hard task today, seeing her performances consistently. And, these events are tough in the respect that you've got to recover in between. You've got to get your head back in the right place, to cool down on the rollers in the track centre and get back and do it again and again and again. And that's what's been really, really impressive to see, as well as not performing once or twice, but pulling it out of the bag consistently. And the other thing to remember is a lot of these competitors have got a lot of strength from the likes of Wales, for example, and these competitors actually train and know each other often very, very well, so that can be even harder, knowing what your opponent is likely to do.
So now we have the seconds with Sophie Capewell, 1-0 up in this one. And Sophie Capewell is the rider at the back for Team Breeze. At the front, Emma Finucane from Team Wales, a 20-year-old from Carmarthen. 3 laps of the track. And Finnegan keeping Capewell close in this one.
So she's keeping a close eye as this one has the potential to just start winding up with 2 laps to go. Closely matched kits, closely matched riders, but Team Breeze versus Wales.
You see Finnegan still at the front. She's holding back, but a good move there from Capewell. She gains height. She's still up there, but Finnegan is trying to stop her from sprint. She comes inside. Oh, this is going to be a close one. She went on to the Côte d'Azur. And it's going to be Capewell fending off Finnegan there, but I'm sure that the commissaires are going to look at that one. Not for the first time. We saw something not similar, but we saw Capewell come out the sprinters line. So we'll have to wait to see if this goes for a decider there. But for the moment, Sophie Capewell will go through 2-0. But it was a bold move there by Finnegan. We're going to see this again. Finnegan at the front here with Capewell closely behind.
Yeah, just having a little look at this replay now, you know, as you saw Sophie Capewell going up the track, using the height, diving down, but almost a moment of hesitation, coming under, going over. And yeah, it would be interesting to see that moment again.
Yeah, it was a strange when the door was open for her to come through, but it kind of pushed her onto the Côte d'Azur, which you can't go on, but there was nowhere for her to go because both of them were trying to come down at the same time. So hopefully we'll see this again, but for the moment, Sophie Capewell, the 23-year-old from Lichfield, will go through into the gold and silver medal right, with Inna Finnegan and Lowry Thomas for the bronze medal.
So Martin Bridgewood just having a little look at things there. And Sophie Capewell, it's hard to believe she's still so young actually, because I've watched her race for what feels like many, many years successfully, because she started so young. And I think I'm right in saying that her debut came at the Revolution Track Series, where she was in the Future Stars, which has produced so much talent, so much depth into the British racing scene. And yeah, she's just gone from strength to strength after starting with immense talent.
We're just getting confirmation here that Heat 2, the semi-finals, that it was given to Emma Finnegan. We'll wait for confirmation on that, but we're just seeing Martin Bridgewood speaking, and the result is up. Finnegan takes that, and it's a hard one, it's a tough one, but when you come down off the banking and you are first into the sprinters line, inside the sprinters line, which she clearly was, and Capewell come down and pushed her onto, you can't do that, and you know the judges have given that, so that's going to go to a decider.
It is, yeah. We've so often today seen race 1 and 2 decided, but we will have the deciding round because it's 1-1 at the moment. And yeah, I mean, a gutsy move diving down there, but we did expect to perhaps take a little look at what had happened there in terms of going on to the Côte d'Azur.
And now up next, we are going to see the women's pursuit, and that will be 12 laps of the track. And this is the 58th place ride. Victoria Smith from Alba Development Racing Team and Francesca Hall from Loughborough Lightning TRG, and she'll be in the back straight in the purple. Just a little bit of problem with the gate at the moment, getting her bike. And I was just talking to a couple of the female riders from the Alba Development Team, a new team based up in Aberdeen in Scotland. Not 100% Scottish riders. They do have, I think, 1 or 2 English riders, so purely 100% women's team. And we're talking about that earlier, Rebecca, that it's very, you really need to have you know, volunteers and backers and teams like this will help women's cycling go from strength to strength.
Yeah, I was really excited to see actually the showing from Alba Development RT today, because you say they're a new team. They've come sort of out the woodwork this year, and yeah, going down a storm here at the National Championships. But development teams so important. We've seen some great case studies of that really feeding the talent pool, and that's the case with Alba Development.
Well, Victoria Smith takes off from the start line. Francesca Hall in the back straight. Not a lot between them. As you see, they will be seated almost together. You know, there wasn't a lot between them. So as we look in the previous round, 3:38.9 to a 3:39.2 in the favour of Victoria Smith. So this should be a close-fought contest.
Yeah, it certainly should be. We've seen some incredible times tumbling earlier today, and for anyone just joining us, we had qualification rounds happening last night here at the Welsh Velodrome, and that continued through this morning and today as well. So now we're seeing the sharper end of the action with qualifying taking place yesterday and today. But yeah, some riders that are just so close together, and some surprise performances as well, I think, because again, we've missed a year of the championships, and we can't always ascertain what riders have been doing during that time. So to see people come back out today, some in new teams, some obviously having come from junior and under 23 and going up the ranks, it's been really exciting to see. And we're just looking at the riders come out of the gate, get on terms with that gear, and just settle into that pure aero position with the focus they have for the likes of the pursuit.
So as expected, you know, 1.151, not a lot between them, and you know, it's a little bit is how you recover as well, because this afternoon it's a huge effort. You know, 12 laps. You know, you're at your threshold, and you know you're knocking out these laps. You know, a few people from the stats that I've seen it's about being consistent over the laps. It's not kind of going into the red because you pay for the next laps. It's keeping your figures in the green rather than going too fast into the yellow or kind of too slow into the red.
Absolutely, and pacing is absolutely everything, because you might have those earlier laps where you think, oh, it's very tempting to really push up on my schedule, but you've got to stick to your race and what you know you're capable of doing, because timing is absolutely everything in the pursuit, and you push just too far into the red and it can be completely game over. So it is a fascinating one to watch.
So next time round it'll be 1 kilometre to go, 4 laps of the track, and it's now in favour of Francesca Hall. So she seems to be pacing the middle well. So let's see what any of them got left. Still within 0.114 there. So not a lot between them. This is the battle for the 5th to 8th place, which is worth having. So still nothing in it between Smith and Hall for the moment.
Interesting what you said before, Brian. I want to pick up on about recovery in between, because I think there were perhaps times at national championships where there were bigger margins, and actually maybe people at the sharper end could measure their effort. But as we've seen today, the competition is so hot, people have to leave it all out there for qualification and then get up and do it again.
Yeah, it's fascinating how they recover, but as I think the fitter you are, the quicker you recover. So the bell goes. This is the last lap, 250 metres, and it does look as if Francesca Hall, who was a little bit slower than Victoria Smith, could be in the recovery. But Francesca Hall, depending on what Victoria Smith has got left, she's pulling back a little bit, so this is going to be nip and tuck. What way is it going to go? Francesca Hall by 0.171. Very tight contest, but I think Francesca Hall will be really happy with that. Very similar time. Actually, she went quicker by a considerable margin, maybe about 0.8 or 0.9. So that was a really good effort there from Francesca Hall from Loughborough Lighting team.
And when you're looking at qualifications and the process of getting towards where you want to be at the end of the day, towards hopefully for riders a final, it is just interesting to see how much more comes out of the bag when you are against a competitor and it's, you know, first across the line winning, because we've had so much focus today, haven't we, on getting a good time, but when it becomes a race of you know, people on both sides of the track, it changes that dynamic.
I think as the day gets on, Rebecca, and the kind of atmosphere changes as the place heats up, and we're talking about it when we came in this morning, and riders were warming up. As the day goes on, and you quite often see it when we get into the evening sessions, they get a little bit quicker, but it is about the recovery, because it's a big effort for anybody to go up and do two pursuits in one day. And way back many years ago, the national championships used to be over a week. Now they're over pretty much 3 days.
And there were sandbags. Me showing my age, they're now pieces of foam.
And it was outdoor and raining.
Yeah, and we were outside in the rain.
So next up is Jenny Hall from Techers, and she's in the back straight, in the home straight from Cams Basso, Ella Barnwell. So again, this is for 5th to 8th. So of the 4 riders for the moment, Francesca Hall is in that 5th place. So what can Barnwell and Hall do here?
So the second heat, in the 5th to 8th place, ride against the
We've got Jenny Hull in a plain skin suit there, but I would urge anyone that hasn't seen the Techers CC kit to go and look that up, because it's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Another squad we've talked about developing riders, and this is a testament to that as well.
So for the moment, Barnwell starts quickest, but as we've seen in the previous round, or heat, that Victoria Smith started the slightly quickest. It was an even contest pretty much the whole way until Francesca Hall just nipped it in the end. And you can see her hugging her coach afterwards. She's really pleased with this.
And I think that's the thing today as well, isn't it? You can actually see what rides people were expecting to do, and then the emotions when they sort of secure it. And there's been some very happy riders, but I think again it's been an unknown entity to an extent coming back and pinning a number back on. So yeah, we've seen some really sort of visibly chuffed riders, which is great to see.
Well, I was talking in the infield in the break as well, and I just wish sometimes that we had that information to hand. I know they do it in athletics, and when we finish an event and a PB comes up, and like you say, a lot of riders are here to see how they match against some of the best in the world, because in Britain here we have got so much talent, but just getting a PB. I know one of the Scottish girls got a PB by 5.5 seconds this afternoon, so that to me is huge compared to maybe someone finishing 5th or 6th or 7th. So yeah, there are kind of personal goals here, and it was clear to me that Francesca Hall had hit her personal goal and she was happy with this. But back to this heat, and Ella Barnwell is riding well so far, but she seems to have kind of lost a little bit of ground. Just the timing, saying Jenny Hall now riding well, but it's Ella Barnwell that's setting the fastest time. In fact, Ella Barnwell has got Jenny Hall in her sights in the back straight here.
And you can see differences in positions today, can't you, Brian? And we know so much about aerodynamics and how important it is in a discipline like this. And we're seeing sort of riders on different equipment, of course, today, and quite a wide open field at the National Championships, but interesting to see the positions just improving year on year, and people having that understanding and that nous of just how to really fight their way through the air as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, she's inside the last kilometre now, is Ella Barnwell, and she's clearly got sight of Jenny Hall, and that will inspire her. You can also see Emma Trott trying to help her at the sides, and that's purely just to keep her within, you can see a rider in front, that's your character, you want to catch her, but you have to just keep things consistent for that time.
You do, because again we've seen this, haven't we, where in previous championships where somebody has someone in their sights and then it's never over till it's over. I keep saying it, but you've got to focus on your own race, especially when you're looking for times earlier in the day. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yes, Barnwell comes up to take it. What time will she set? She had to go the long way around Jenny Hall there, so that'll cost her a little bit. She comes up, sets a time of 3:32, so looks as if she will go into the 5th spot. Jenny Hall just finishing on the back straight as we see. 3:44, so almost 12 seconds down, but still a strong performance from Jenny Hall. But that was a huge effort there from Ella Barnwell. You can see it in the way she's riding here. She really wanted that 5th place, Rebecca.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I can say really about the riders in the pursuit today, is just leaving absolutely everything out there on the track. I mean, this is immensely tough to suffer your way through a pursuit, and just having that psychological, you know, kind of strength really, just to stay focused on your schedule the whole time, but to also be in such a tight aero position, thinking constantly about keeping that head down, not looking around you at what the competitor on the other side's doing, just getting the best time you can possibly get. We saw coach Emma Trott there walking the line, so to speak, and that's something that a coach will do when they're on hand on the sort of track side, to help their rider understand whether they're up or down on their schedule, whether they need to try and pull a little bit more out of the bag, or actually whether they've gone out of the gun a little bit too hard and they need to rein that back to make sure they don't over-egg it too early and lose schedule. But it's interesting to see that approach of walking the line, because when you're all out, all completely focused on being on the rivet, on staying in that TT position, the aero position, all you can see is a set of feet. You're not really looking around you too much more than that in this event.
Well, we move on as we see Ella Barnwell take 5th, Jenny Hall in 6th in the previous heats, 7th for Francesca Hall and Victoria Smith in 8th. But this is the interesting one, the battle of the Scots, both from Alba development team, Kate Richardson and Sophie Langford. Not a lot between them. Langford is the rider in the back straight, and Langford was the one that set a PB by 5.5 seconds earlier on today. So timing wise, not a lot between them in the previous heat, so this should be a close contest. Kate Richardson, as we see, new to cycling, only started track cycling in October. She's only ridden the Chris Hoy Velodrome in Glasgow, and when she came here, we noticed this earlier on, the feeling on the Glasgow Velodrome is you have to kind of lean into it. In this velodrome, although they look the same, but they're always built differently, it throws you out, and we could see that earlier on today. Couldn't we, Rebecca, that Kate, you know, new to track cycling, it was throwing her out a little bit, and she needed to be a little bit more steadier.
Yeah, as you say, these tracks, you know, you've got a standardised distance for these competitions, but the transitions, so to speak, are very, very subtly different, and you can get so used to training on one track and it can feel a little bit different, you know, with stuff like diving down from the banking or holding that line to absolute perfection. So it'll be interesting to see how these two riders fare. Of course, teammates know each other well, kicking off the team together this year, and you know, Richardson versus Langford is a very, very interesting one indeed. And I think for different reasons, both of these riders were really surprised with their performances earlier today. Perhaps Kate, because she's so much newer into the sport, but actually, as you mentioned, Brian, Sophie Langford pulling a massive PB out of the bag. Not only was she delighted, I think she was genuinely surprised. Yeah, they're just enjoying it. I joined them down in the infield, and you can see that now that you know, Langford leading by 0.887. The coach for both of these riders down in the track, Evan Oliphant, and you know, I know earlier on today that Kate Richardson was, you know, her pace is 17 seconds a lap, while Sophie Langford was at 17.3 seconds a lap. But it was Sophie Langford that went beyond that, and we keep on talking about, you know, these championships. You don't know where you're at, and people mature and new people coming into our sport. And I think the Scottish women here are surpassing, you know, maybe what they came here to do. And I know that Kate Richardson, if it wasn't for passing the rider earlier on today, that possibly cost her, you know, half a second, that would have been enough to get her the qualifying time of 3:32.5 to represent the Scottish team in Birmingham at the Commonwealth Games. Yeah, Commonwealth Games fast approaching this year, and that was, you know, a big target for her coming into today. Sophie Langford, I know, has also worked not only immensely hard in training, but she's done a lot of looking at her aero position and understanding exactly what she needs to do, become becoming a neater rider in the aero respect as well.
Well, for the first time, the pendulum has swung towards Kate Richardson, only by a small amount, and it's still a small amount. Nothing between them. We are inside the last kilometre of this event, the last 500 metres coming up, and nothing between them, as we thought that you know, they are giving their all to try and get this bronze medal.
They really are. They'll be leaving absolutely everything they possibly can on these boards in Wales at the Geraint Thomas Velodrome. And yeah, two teammates, two absolutely fine competitors. But this is really, really starting to hurt, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, it's just swaying a little bit more towards Kate Richardson. Can she get that time? Can she please her father and Giftnut Gordon, if you're watching? Hello, Gordon. Your daughter is doing an amazing job here. Can she get that time of 3:32.5? And it's gone up now to almost half a second to Sophie Langford. She went out fast, she held on, but it looks as if Kate Richardson is coming through now to take a very, very respectable time. Just look at that clock. She could be just outside that qualifying time, but what she does do is take that bronze medal.
Goodness me, what a stunning ride from both Richardson and Langford. Richardson taking it there, and I mean, she'll be absolutely delighted. Not quite the time she wanted for the qualification, but a sterling ride nonetheless.
We were talking about recovery and, you know, very difficult, and, you know, this is probably the first time she's ridden two pursuits like this in one day, so she'll learn from that. She did look a lot smoother than this morning, so she got the lines right. We can just see her here. She's hugging that black line, so plenty of room for improvement, and I'm sure given another opportunity she'll make that time.
Yeah, and going that well when there is room for more improvement in terms of the technical approach. I mean, it's going to be really, really exciting to watch this rider progress even more as she gets more and more into the sport. But yeah, impressive ride as well from Sophie Langford. Yeah,
so Sophie was given a schedule of 17.2 for the first kilometre on her laps, and then 17 on a 102-inch gear. We're talking about gears, so there's some strong women out there. You see Evan there, he'll be happy. Scotland going in the right direction. Thumbs up from Kate Richardson. It's a good performance there, bronze medal. Gordon and Giftnut, her father, will be pleased with that. But you have to say that Sophie Langford, you know, deserved to be in that bronze medal ride-off, and she can be happy with her performance, and, you know, throughout the day. 5.5 seconds as a PB, magnificent for both Scottish athletes.
You can't argue with that, can you? Pulling a PB out of the bag when it counts, backing up your performances, and yeah, going up against your teammate and both having a staggering ride. But yeah, we've talked about that time that Kate was targeting there, but yeah, she'll be delighted, and to take bronze at the national championships here, that, you know, that's really special.
And talking about special, this is a special person, Anna Morris. Anna Morris, she's a qualified doctor. She's taken a year out to concentrate on the Commonwealth Games. She's from Cardiff. She worked pretty much the whole lockdown in ICU, and you know, she has decided that, you know, she wants a chance after, you know, a difficult couple of years, I have to say, that she wants to, you know, try and represent Wales at the Commonwealth Games. She doesn't need to do it, she wants to do it, and that's a big thing. And, you know, such an amazing athlete, so we'll see what she can do. I believe that Nia Evans, the favourite for this, may have been saving a little bit, just wanted to do enough to qualify. But either way, I think two of these riders are absolute legends of the sport. We know that, you know, Nia Evans for Team Hoop in the home straight is, you know, she's a tremendous bike rider, you know, Olympic champion, everything, European, worlds in team pursuit, you know, an aggressive rider, but such a likeable rider in her own right, and very, very approachable. So let the best woman win.
Yeah, Nia Evans just storming onto the scene when she did, and actually just impressing everyone, really, Brian, didn't she, just from the word go, and just got stronger and stronger and stronger across the disciplines. We see her put out performances in the team pursuit, and then go into the bunch races and be purely dominant, and she is an absolute pleasure to watch. But Anna Morris, I mean, what tremendous work she did during the pandemic, and yeah, we just can't thank the NHS enough, and to see her come out and do this, it's just so impressive. And I think she was very happy as well. She looked very, very pleased with her efforts earlier today.
Yeah, she was. She came off the track beaming with a smile. She knew she had a medal, you know, and she's in a race now. But I just think, speaking to a couple of people, that I think, you know, Nia Evans just did enough, and you know, she wants to be national champion from Langbank in the west of Scotland. And you know, not only do we have Katie Archibald, we've got Nia Evans, and if that doesn't inspire you as a female cyclist in Scotland, what doesn't? Because you know, they still train and race there often. You know, I'm from Paisley. Whenever I'm back, sometimes I'll see Katie Archibald out on the bike and using the same roads. You know, locally they use the Georgetown Straight, some time trial. Sometimes she's out there, you know, riding a two-up, riding these and supporting, you know, local cyclists. So I think it's fantastic to see. Nia Evans already 0.6 of a second up, solid as a rock on the bike. Clearly, a lot of work has gone into that.
Yeah, it's so approachable, both Nia and Katie and the likes of that team, and they will inspire and they will stop and talk to people on a ride, and I've seen it myself as well, and it really does change the game when you've got a rider that can perform like that, but also inspire a next generation of riders to come through. But as you say, Nia Evans, absolutely rock solid, and look at the position of her head. She just stays in that aero position. It's mightily impressive.
We saw this morning, however, Rebecca and Anna Morris really come back in the later stages. Is that going to happen again? I know it's moved out a little bit to 0.627, but not a lot in it. It's doable. We talked about, you know, do you pace this? How do you pace it? We're talking about Colin Sturgis in the men's event. He had an amazing last kilometre in him. You know, what has Anna Morris got left? It's moving up to closer to 1 second, but both of them fighting it out for this gold medal.
Yeah, Colin Sturgis, a friend of both of ours, and he used to just pull it out the bag, didn't he, towards the end of the pursuit. And actually, if you looked at that on paper, a lot of people would have said, oh, you know, you're not pacing that right. But of course, he performed and won at the greatest world level. We're doing it his way, and we have seen riders come out and perform like that. So you can't discount a rider if they're down on schedule or looking to be down on the other rider early on in the pursuit, because everybody rides this differently. But Nia Evans looking you know, very, very rock steady, as we say, and on that mightily impressive bike there, looking at the aero design of that as well. But Anna Morris was spectacular earlier on today, so yeah, all to play for out in this final.
Might be, as the bell rings, might be paying for it a little bit. Just noticed that in the far side, Anna Morris's coach is stepping towards her, which means she's down the schedule. But just look at this time. Earlier on, Nia Evans did a 3:29.083. Is this going to be quicker? It looks as if it could be. It's going to be very close. So, yeah, definitely 3:28.470. Quicker time than this morning, as expected. Nia Evans just doing enough earlier on to qualify for this final, but bringing it all on in the night here to take the gold medal. And the new British champion, Nia Evans, in the 3-kilometre women's pursuit.
What a ride by Nia Evans. She, of course, came in as the favourite today, but what a worthy competitor, pushing it all the way to the line, so close. And yeah, 2 podium spots taken there. Nia Evans, of course, taking the gold, and yeah, what a performance.
Yeah, I have to hands out to Anna Morris for putting up that fight to Nia Evans, but it did look as if Nia Evans was in control earlier on today and also in the final here. Just going to rock solid, just not far from that black line. So the results: gold medal goes to Nia Evans. Anna Morris will take a creditable silver medal, with Kate Richardson taking the 3rd, 4th Sophie Langsford, and all the way down to 10th Isabel Sharp. So gold, silver and bronze in the women's 3 kilometres pursuit here.
What a fight that was. I think Anna Morris will take a lot away from that ride, won't she? Because, yeah, she looked delighted earlier on to put in that performance and then to go away with a silver medal. So close for all the way to the line with Nia Evans. Yeah, I think she'll be absolutely delighted with that. But, yeah, Nia Evans...
Well, she's delighted this morning. She'll be over the moon, I think.
Even more delighted, yeah. But it's nice to see, isn't it? It's nice to see the emotion of the riders. We don't see it underneath those aero lids. So to see them come off with massive smiles and thumbs up, you know, it's nice for us to see how much it means to the competitors as well.
For the first time that these championships have been in Wales. You know, it's been in Leicester for so many years and then Manchester, so it's the first time here. But this is the this has gone to the 3rd round. We saw the relegation for Capewell, and Finnegan got that one, so it's 1-1. The Breeze rider, Sophie Capewell at the front, Finnegan from Wales at the back. So this is a decider. This is a hard one to call. There's not a lot between them. I think Finnegan tried to dive down in the previous heat, and unfortunately Capewell came down at the same time, but she was judged to have impeded her, and she went on to the Côte d'Azur. But this is looking a little bit more tactical. The other heats have been pretty much run off at, you know, a decent pace, but Finnegan not having any of it. Capewell forcing her to the front now, so a good tactical move there.
Yeah, it was, and you could just see Capewell on the line really looking at her, and it's such a psychological game, isn't it, Brian? Looking at each other on the start line, Capewell just like, right, it's all on now, because they've taken one each, and it is all down to this match sprint now. But Capewell, as you can see, she doesn't want to let her get away, catch her napping. She's using the height of the track, yes, again, as they come onto the bell lap.
Yeah, Finnegan going down and coming with the height is Capewell, so she could come with more speed. She has got the rush room to do that. Coming down the back straight and going into the final bank, and this is going to be a drag race all the way to the line. This is 1-1. Who's going to take this one? And it's Capewell that takes the third one. So 2-1 to Capewell, 23-year-old from Lichfield. But I have to say that in it, Emma Finnegan from Team Wales from Carmarthen, you know, really made her fight for that one.
She put up a really tremendous fight there, and these were closely matched competitors. Sophie Capewell taking a faster time in the flying 200 qualies this morning, but actually very close matched in terms of trying to outsmart each other, going for that cat and mouse game, and that was really, really exciting set of 3 match sprints there. But yeah, Capewell sort of coming the long way round and then getting on terms in this final straight to win it convincingly.
I just think Capewell came here with a game plan. She came here to force Finnegan to the front, which she did. She wanted to use the slipstream. Finnegan came down into the sprinters line early. You know, Capewell had, you know, stayed with some height, came with speeds, had the slipstream to rush into. You know, they were neck and neck around the final corners, but into the finishing straight, Capewell had enough to deliver the win there and, you know, take it 2-1. But I just think tactically Capewell was better than Finnegan there. Not a lot between them, but it just comes down to these split-second decisions.
It does, and I think with the competition being so close today, we haven't really seen any match sprints where someone's thought, you know, I can really measure this, I've got it in the bag. You know, it's been such a brutal fight that actually no one has wanted to be caught napping. We've very rarely seen the riders take their eye off each other at all, and as I say, Capewell just taking a really good look on the start line at Emma there, and yeah, what a way to conclude that round of match sprints.
Well, we're moving on to the paracycling, the mixed C1 to 5, 10-kilometre scratch, and a new event for us, Rebecca.
Yeah, the inaugural event here for the Para 10K bunch race. We've got a small field. Brilliant to see this on the schedule here at the British National Championships, and it will be a really interesting one to see battle out. We've got competitors from C3, C4 and C5, and women's C5 as well, in Emma Todd from Apache Brave Racing. Someone I've definitely got my eye on today, I have to have conviction with saying this one, is Finn Graham, Team Para T, who had tremendous success at the Paralympic Games, and is just a joy to work with, to watch on the track. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, number 74 that'll be. 2 silver medals in Tokyo. Very, very successful. You've also got Colin Wallace from D-Side Thistle in the green there at the front, an Aberdeen-based club. Also Nicholas Fairfield from City Racing Club in Hull. Martin Hailstone from Chapeau Vive la Velo. Another interesting character of Will Bjerfield from St Piran. He's the rider towards the back in the black. He had a nasty accident, a car accident in 2015, and now he's in paracycling. First paracyclist to ride the Tour of Britain last year. David Murphy from Liverpool and Mercury CC. Although riding from Mercury, he comes from Leeds. And Emma Todd, the only female in the field from Apache Brave Racing Team, a former rower. But is Emma Todd from Apache Brave Racing Team going to scalp them all?
Let's see how this first event of the 10k para scratch race plays out. It'll be interesting to see. And once again, stealing away an athlete from another sport. I love it. We're getting them all, Brian, into cycling, and they're certainly performing so far today. It's really, really exciting to see.
Have you tried rowing?
Have I tried rowing?
That's why they're coming into cycling.
Yeah, I was going to say I've had it quite hard. Spent more time on a rowing machine than out on the water. I think that was very short-lived for me. Back into the walk for the velodrome.
Yeah, they're just rolling around the track. They'll be stopped and held up on the finishing straights. You see Will Bjergfield. This could be quite a nice tussle between Will Bjergfield and Finlay Graham.
Just gonna say that, Brian. I think Bjergfield has got so much experience, hasn't he? That it will be interesting to see that experience and that match with Finn Graham as we're sort of predicting. But yeah, let's see how this one plays out. First time we've seen this here at the National Championships.
So Finlay Graham will be at the front in the red and the black. Bjergfield, followed by Colin Wallace in the green. And then we get Emma Todd in the blue. Then we get the rider in black, Martin Hailstone from Chapeau Vive la Velo. Another rider in black is David Murphy from Liverpool Mercury. And at the back in the purple, easy to spot, and that is Nicholas Fairfield from City Racing Club in Hull.
Yeah, hopefully we're picking the kicks out okay for everyone listening and watching at home, because there's some very big similarities, aren't there, in some of the kits today, so hopefully we're deciphering that out for you.
So a cagey start already. It's a small field, you can really expect that. You know, we've got so many laps of the track, 40 laps of the track, but you can see Finlay Graham is the rider, just tentatively just riding off the front here. Will Bjergfield, I think he wants to play the kind of waiting game. He's the rider in the top of the track now.
It's
very cagey, isn't it?
It is, and it's nice actually to see an endurance bunch event, isn't it? We've had so many kind of individual rides today, which has been great to see, but actually we'll have a bunch race as well, and this is a small field, so yeah, expecting some gaps to form, but so far all together.
Yeah, just looking at Will Bjergfield, he wants to, and straight onto his wheel was Finlay Graham. You could see him coming pretty much round the top here. I have to say, these are, you know, mixed abilities. We have C3 to C5. You know, when we get to these different levels of paracycling, it goes from 1, the most severe, down to 5, the least severe. So, you know, it's good to see them, you know, mixing these categories, and you know, it's really, you know, what you want to get out of this. And you know, as expected so far, you know, the two main riders are at the front here, Finlay Graham and Will Bjergfield.
Yeah, and we did predict this looking down the start list, especially that if Bjergfield made a move, Finlay Graham would be straight on that wheel, and he has been. But Finn Graham saying earlier on Twitter actually that this is the first time he's pinned a number on since the Paralympic Games in Tokyo in the Easy Velodrome. So again, for him coming out,
so he's giving you excuses.
Doesn't look like he needs any excuses, does it? But yeah, once again, another rider that actually hasn't fielded a race for a little while on the velodrome. So yeah, exciting to see him back out there, and he's excited to be here at these championships.
Well, they've been joined by David Murphy, so they weren't pushing on. Two kind of strongest riders here. So David Murphy from Liverpool Mercury has joined them, and then we got another trail behind with Emma Todd pretty much on her own. But just let me say that the D-side thistle rider of Colin Wallace is bringing it all back together. It's unfortunately for Emma, she's about a quarter a lap down on her own. A long way to go with 33 laps, but she'll continue. You know, these riders, you know, have gone through enough adversity. They'll battle all the way to the finishing line.
Yeah, absolutely, she's fighting there. And as we mentioned before, mixed category, here in many respects, but the field just coming together back to bunch up at the front, with Finley Graham leading from the front, just having a little look over his shoulder. See the state of play behind. 32 laps to go.
Yeah, there's no kind of rhythm. You thought that with Finley Graham and Will Bierfield, they're going to kind of push out there, but trying to get this kind of second wind. Will Bierfield just taking a bit of a breather now, and it's David Murphy leading them across the line. So just we thought it was kind of breaking up. It's all kind of came back together now.
Yeah, it's sort of concertinaing out and coming back together, isn't it? But it is a tough one, isn't it, when it's a small field? We always expect it to split, but with this event happening for the first time at these championships, let's hope it just grows and grows. But it's brilliant to see it here in its skies in the first place. But yeah, just actually coming back together. Finley Graham once again pressing on the front. We
find that when you ride a bunch round here with maybe 30, 40 riders in it, and then you're restricted in numbers, that there's no place to hide, Rebecca.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference, doesn't it? And places to hide, I mean, that was my forte. Looking for as many places to hide in a bunch and not see the front too much. And yeah, when you've got a whittled down, reduced bunch, of course, there is no hiding. And as you saw from the very beginning, watching this at home, it had that tendency to become very fragmented early on. This is a tough race for these competitors, but yeah, some really exciting names in here.
Well, he's already attacked once, and Finley Graham goes again, double silver medalist in Tokyo. But look who's chasing him. Will Bierfield didn't miss him the first time, but yeah, glance up the track, and he'll be going, "How you doing, mate?" for the second time.
we did predict this, didn't we? We knew that these two competitors would be keeping a firm eye on each other. 27 laps to go now, and yeah, really is fragmenting. But those two names that we predicted right out there on the front, and yeah, not taking a second to take their eyeballs off each other.
Well, if they were taking it a little bit easier earlier on, they aren't now, because it looks as if they are settled down for the last 26 laps. But a rivalry between these two, obviously for the first time that this event has been in these championships, that everybody wants to be first to win it.
They certainly do, and we are going to see races within a race here, and yeah, it's certainly on between Finley Graham and Will Bierfield, and all spread out around the track now.
It seems to be in twos at the moment. We have got Finley Graham and Will Bierfield at the front, and then we've got a couple of chasers, and it doesn't look as if the other two riders have got themselves together for the moment anyway. But we have got Martin Hailstone and David Murphy, the two riders in black, chasing down, and almost half a lap behind the two leaders, as the two leaders just catch the D-side Thistle rider of Colin Wallace. Passes Emma Todd again, down the back straight they go. But we've got concerted chase here from the two riders in black of Hailstone and Murphy.
Yeah, we certainly have, and we, as you said, just eating my words here. As you've said, Brian, yeah, it's riders looking for that wheel to follow when it does splinter apart like that, 'cause it makes the world of difference. We haven't got a big punch for them to hide in, which is always what I'd be looking for. But yeah, it's still very much on in these sort of duos pairing up now, chasing back down.
We're halfway in this inaugural competition, the mixed events, paracycling, and the two favourites, Finley Graham from Paraty and William Bierfield from St Piran, are in the lead. Then we've got a duo of Martin Hailstone of Chapeau Vive Lavero and David Murphy from Liverpool Mercury CC, and almost exactly a lap behind. So two duels there, with D-side Thistle Colin Wallace out there. So Emma Todd's braving the way, just being passed by the leaders and trying to kind of hang on to, trying to use them now, trying to kind of sit at the back, get a bit. And it's a good thing to do, actually. Just when you see you're going to be caught, just ease off a little bit, and she's on the back of them.
Yeah, and really use that to your advantage, because it makes such a big difference, doesn't it? And I think we've talked throughout today about some of the sort of inspirational riders that are just getting more people into the sport, people seeing that there's a pathway forward. And for me, following the success of Finn Graham has been really exciting, because I think, again, he just comes across so humble and always has time to speak to people that want to follow his footsteps and get in. And, you know, he's won on the world stage at World Championships, at the Paralympic Games now, and that tremendous success hasn't, affected that ability to be humble at all. And to see the performances he can put in here, it is really, really inspiring. He's really one to watch.
Yeah, just a little bit too much for Nicholas Fairfield there, and it's still Finlay Graham and Will Bjerrefield leading. So 14 laps to go, and as we stand, it looks as if it could be between Finlay Graham and Will Bjerrefield. They're just about to lap some riders here as they move further up the track. Just below them you have Nicholas Fairfield in the purple, white and the yellow. So coming back together, and these riders have to make the effort to try and kind of keep on to the fastest riders at the front, and that's what Nicholas Fairfield is trying to do in the purple. Colin Wallace at Deeside trying to do likewise. Well, Hailstone and Murphy are still out there alone, sitting in third and fourth place.
And it will be really interesting now to see, with 11 laps to go, won't it, how this plays out, because as predicted, we had Finlay Graham and Will Bergfeld following each other's moves, and as we come towards that final 10 laps, Will Bergfeld is definitely marking everything Finn does, so it'll be interesting to see how they play that, whether it becomes a cat and mouse, how they tactically play that out.
And Nicholas Fairfield from City Racing Club in Hull has come to the front, so he's a lap down, of course, we have to remember that, but he still wants to finish up as high as possible, so it does look as if down the back straights that Finn Graham and Will Bjerrefield are starting to play around a little bit. Inside the last 10 laps here, Bjerrefield at the top in the black, Finlay Graham looking up, as you say, Finlay not knowing where he's at with his form after not ridden too much. Still the duo chasing for the bronze here, and that's David Murphy of Liverpool Mercury CC and Martin Hailstone of Chapel Vive Lavero. So Bjerrefield putting in an effort there. 8 laps to go, 2 kilometres. I think he maybe realises that Finn Graham maybe be a slightly quicker finisher and doesn't want to take it to a sprint final, so just testing him out there. Didn't work this time.
Yeah, and that's what we see, isn't it? Just injecting a bit of pace, testing the rider. Can I do anything about them marking me? Can I lose them? And it'll be interesting to see with 7 laps to go now how this plays, because Will Bergfeld very much marking Finn trying to shake him off his tail, and just looking what's Bergfeld going to do next. He's already trying to get away. He hasn't quite lost Finn Graham, so let's see if he goes again.
Yeah, it's visibly slowed now. 6 laps to go, and Finn has slowed things down a little bit. Still looking back to see where the other two are, Hailstone and Murphy. And again, the leader slowing a little bit. They can see the two riders going for the bronze medal in front of them, but they're just concentrating on their job. They both want to win this one, don't they?
They do, and we often see games play out like this, and the riders have to keep looking back, don't they, to make sure that there isn't a catch, an unexpected rider coming back at them from behind. But the luxury these two riders have got now with 4 to go is that they can actually focus on each other, because they've gained that lap, and they know now it's just about not just dragging the other to the line. They really want this coveted jersey.
Actually, Hailstone and Murphy, they were 3/4 of a lap behind. With the slowing at the front, they're less than half a lap. We could see a catch. I don't think it will happen, because with 3 laps to go, they are looking at each other. They have saved so much power. This is going to come down to a final couple of laps here, but I have to say that Hailstone and Murphy are gaining, and Hailstone, they could be caught. I just never thought that it wouldn't happen. They are coming up, the men in black are coming up, and Hailstone and Murphy have made it back to Bearfield, and straight over the top they go. Big surprise here, 2 laps to go. We're into an incredible, exciting finish now.
Well, it is certainly getting exciting now. He came back at these two. We said they had, well, I said they had plenty of time for cat and mouse, and looking back to see that change of stages behind them. So we're on the final lap now. My goodness, this is hotted up.
Well, you can see Finlay Graham just waiting for it. We did think he'd the faster sprint. Will Bearfield really struggling to go with him here. So in this first ever championship in mixed paracycling, Finlay Graham takes it on the line. Second is Will Bearfield, and third there is Martin Hailstone of Chapeau Vive Lavello. An exciting final. Just when we thought it would be between the two, they were finessing, they were looking at each other. Wow. This is here to stay in these championships, and hopefully we'll get more and more competitors to join them. That was an exciting finish.
It was really exciting, and I'll eat my hat there, because I said it, didn't I? They wouldn't come back. But yeah, absolutely sterling performance from the podium positions there. But yeah, Finlay Graham looked behind, saw that danger move, and just absolutely went all out to the line. Just yeah, showing his prowess on these boards. First time he's pinned a number on since huge success at the Easy Velodrome in the Tokyo Paralympic Games, and yeah, fine display.
Well, just when we thought pretty much throughout the 40 laps it was a 2-up horse race, but you know, hats off to Martin Hailstone of Chapeau Vive Lavello. He never gave up. We didn't think that anyway. Just unfortunate that David Murphy from Liverpool couldn't go with him. We see the final result here, Graham, Bearfield, Hailstone and Murphy, but to catch them, you know, just going on to the final lap, going straight over the top, not waiting, just going straight over the top, and you know, well-deserved bronze medal there for Hailstone.
It was, and we see these moves pay off, don't we? You know, it is never over till it's over, and actually coming back and then surprising, going straight, not onto the back, but straight over and past, trying to catch someone napping. We've seen time and time again that, you know, that can really, really pay off. So to see him take the bronze, yeah, very, very worthy there.
Yeah, good tactical race. I wonder what they're saying to each other. But yeah, it was always going to be between these two riders, but you know, let's not
shake up at the end, yeah.
Let's not discount the others that got involved there and made it a really exciting finish. Just when we thought it would be between two, you know, it was between pretty much almost 4 at the end. So you know, well done to Finlay Graham in taking the first bronze medal in this mixed competition. So next up should be a women's sprint. But before then, we're going to go to the women's pursuit victory ceremony.
Wow. The podium positions here going to 3 riders that have given us a lot of entertainment throughout today, Brian. Brilliant to see.
So the bronze medal going to Kate Richardson for Alba Development Racing Team. Proud father Gordon watching and listening, sorry, from Giffnock in Glasgow. First time at these championships. Triathlete until October. Silver medal going to Anna Morris, the doctor from Team Wales, who's taken a year out to concentrate on the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham later in the year. Got a new national champion, and gold medal goes to Nia Evans of Team Hoop. She's got a few of those jerseys, hasn't she? She's
got plenty of jerseys stored up at home, hasn't she? But again, really nice to see what this means to her, isn't it? She's absolutely and understandably beaming at taking this national championship title and putting the medal over her neck now with those coveted stripes. And yeah, it clearly means a lot, and it should.
Well, she's got so much to her armoury. You know, she can pretty much medal in most disciplines in the track, which is great to see. And you know, it's great to have that kind of diversity. So here we have it, your medalists in the women's 3,000 metre pursuit. Nia Evans in gold, Anna Morris in silver, and Kate Richardson in bronze.
I think we can assume, can't we, when somebody has won at world level so many times, like Nia Evans, and you know, medalled at Olympics, world champs, world cups, that you know, it might mean something slightly less, but it doesn't. Every time she's just, you know, beaming on the podium, and yeah, what a stunning ride she put in today, like holding maybe a little bit back in qualification, and then just, yeah, leaving it all out on the track in that final for gold.
Well, you see how happy she is. I think they're all happy. I think it was a really nice podium there. You know, we said about Anna Morris, she was happy with her time. She knew she was going to get a medal. It was really nice to see Kate Richardson, you know, coming from triathlon straight in and, you know, medaling. And Nia Evans in this discipline as well. You know, we said she's multifaceted across most disciplines. So this will mean a lot to her.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're at with the talent in this country, isn't it, in cycling, that actually riders can and do have to do it all. You have to have the tactical awareness to go into a bunch endurance race and you know, not miss a beat, but then of course going out against the clock as well is an entirely different discipline for some people, but riders like Nia Evans just make it all look like light work.
I mean, it's an IP, it's pretty simple. And hope that you go a bit quicker than the other person. So, yeah, it worked.
So that was your tactic, was it?
Yeah, I had a split to ride to halfway, and then basically, if I could, squeeze it, and if not, hold on. I tried to squeeze it, and I think the pace went up a little bit, and then, yeah, I died off. But, yeah, it was hard work. It was a good battle.
Great stuff. So last year's nationals were cancelled. This one was postponed. So how does it feel to finally get back out there on the boards and get a national jersey on?
Oh, it was brilliant. Obviously, huge disappointment last year. I think everyone was kind of hoping that we would get to race, and then we didn't. And then I was all gunning for the end of January, and then it's postponed. And then you're going, is it actually going to happen, or are they going to cancel again? So to actually get here racing, yeah, really happy, really pleased.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, nice interview from the new 3,000 metre women's pursuit champion, Nia Evans. So now we are on track for the women's sprint, 3rd and 4th place. So this is for the bronze medal between two Welsh women of Emma Finnegan and Laurie Thomas.
This one's going to be a huge fight, isn't it? Again, a close fought battle between two very strongly matched riders.
So Finnegan at the front here leading this one out, both staying low. So Finnegan is going to be leading this one out from the front. So what has Laurie Thomas got left? Can she come round? She's coming up the banking now. She doesn't have the power to do that into the finishing straight. This is going to be close, but Finnegan takes the first leg of this bronze medal ride off.
So once again, ride off for this bronze medal will take place over race 1, race 2, and a decider if it needs to go to a decider. Of course, if the same competitor takes 2 rounds, 2 races out of the match sprint, then it's all over as a battle. But let's see if it goes to a decider. That was a brilliant ride there from two very closely matched competitors.
It was, I have to say, it was closely matched. Maybe a little tweak to the tactics of Laurie Thomas. I think next, if she had enough power to come up almost alongside over the banking and into turn 4 and half a wheel in the end. I think next time round, if I was Laurie Thomas, not that I know much about sprinting, I would take that one on from the front and really kind of push Finnegan to come round her this time. So it could go to the side of it. On to the gold medal round, and this is Sophie Capewell against Ryan Edmunds. Edmonds at the front for Wales and Capewell for Team Breeze. Edmonds was the fastest of the qualifiers. Capewell had to squeeze past Finnegan 2-1. So she's had to ride one more heat than Ryan Edmonds.
You know, we've got a lot of people tuning in now throughout this evening's sessions of this National Championships, and just a reminder of how the day started for the sprint competition. It was all seeded with a qualification result from a 200-metre flying time trial, and it was these two competitors that took first and second in the qualification times, and both the only riders to go sub-11 at 10.9 and 10.968. So final lap now.
Well, Capewell wanted to take this one from the start, and you know she's doing that at the moment. She came over the top, and you know Edmonds has a lot to do here. Can she use the power that she's used so far to come round? It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a battle. Whoa! I think Edmonds got that one, but she was pushed. It's the first time in these championships that I've actually seen someone actually push Edmonds. Brilliant manoeuvre from Capewell. She wanted to take it on from the front. She used the height, came over the top, and used her speed to her advantage, but just on the line there, Edmonds takes that one, but she was pushed all the way in that.
Yeah, two riders really pushing each other, and yeah, just to correct my timings before, 10.945 was what Rhiannon Edmonds from Team Wales did in qualification earlier, making her the fastest. But we keep saying time and time again, the fastest on paper doesn't always manifest to the best tactician in the match sprint, but both of these riders so practiced at tactical awareness and not being caught out in this game of cat and mouse. So it'll be really exciting to see what happens in the next race of this match sprint, because these riders are, you know, very well versed in how to catch each other out in a match sprint. So I'm excited to see the next round.
I think Capewell just has to do something similar. You know, almost worked. She had to push Edmonds all the way, and I think Sophie Capewell got that spot on. It came down to, you know, having the legs in the end, but you know, here's the difference. Okay, a little bit blurred, but yeah, it was just less than half a wheel in the end. But you know, good tactics there from Capewell. She wanted to take this on from the front, push Edmonds into come around the long way. We did say that, you know, of a track, you know, the difference between coming round the long way and the short way. The long way is 5.7. The red line is 5.7 meters, you know, longer round. So pushed her. She had enough in the end, but you know, we go to another round, and I think Sophie Capewell just has to stick to that game plan and hope she's got enough strength this time to take it to decider. We'll have to wait and see in that. But yeah, so in the bronze and the gold and silver medal ride-off, it's one up for Finnegan in the bronze medal, and Ryan Edmonds, the local Newport girl, is one up in that. So looking good for Wales in the women's sprinting competition.
It certainly has done today, and we saw Sophie Capewell, although from a distance, very similar red colours. She rides for Team Breeze, and must nod to success that Team Breeze has had, not only at this kind of level of competition with the elite fielding, but they put so much back into grassroots cycling with their Breeze programmes, their Breeze rides for all abilities of cyclists. And yeah, it's just second to none in getting people on bikes across the board, from grassroots up to, you know, something like the podium programme. So it's been brilliant to see that progression, and it continues to do brilliant work.
Oh, this is William Roberts for Team Wales, and this is for 7th and 8th place. So William Roberts in the red of Wales. In the back straight we will see John Archibald in the black. John Archibald had this record until earlier on today. Did it in Manchester in 2019 with a 4:09.584. That was eclipsed this morning by Dan Bigham, who set a 4:05, and also Charlie Tanfield of a 4:08. We'll see them later off, ride off for the gold and silver. But for most, I would think maybe slightly disappointing that John Archibald, former winner of this, record holder, did a 4:16.
was interesting to get some insight, again, from wandering around track centre earlier, that actually he's had very, very limited track time. So, I think he's been on a handful of times, and actually, going back to that unknown element, he had the 4:09.584. We've seen faster times from Bigham and Tanfield, but yeah, I think limited track time and unknown variables has played a factor today.
Of course, John Archibald went over to ride for the professional outfit of Viola Cometa. Totally different. It's always, when you got a specialised event like this, you have to spend so much time on the track, so much on the aerodynamics, and you take him out of that and put him into the road. And he did ride quite well on the road, but that was 2 years in Europe riding at almost a high level of cycling, but 2 years without any track time, it makes a huge difference. And not everybody can do it. Not everybody's a Filippo Ganna, an absolute beast, and it just goes to show you that when John Archibald was setting all these times, yes, human after all. I know his sister isn't human. She's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really. Are they human? They're just phenomenal. Absolutely
incredible to see these family members doing so well. But in the round this morning, the fastest was the Welsh rider William Roberts. Was ever so slightly faster than John Archibald, and this is the battle now for 7th and 8th places.
And we joke there about being superhuman, but I do think from the outside looking in, there is often an expectation that because a rider is at World Tour level, they're at a professional level where they're training day in, day out, that actually it translates to going from the road back onto the track, seamlessly doing exactly the same time as you left off with, and just pick that back up. But we're talking, again, about split seconds. We're talking about very, very fine margins, and the specific training and aerodynamics that goes into being absolutely ready to pull a performance like that out of the bag. As you mentioned, John Archibald coming into today with the previous British fastest of 4:09.584, not quite matching up to that today, but he's been focused on other disciplines. He's focused on the road, and we have to sort of nod to that when we do have an expectation sometimes for them to just plunge back in.
I'll tell you what, Rebecca, John Archibald, he must be listening to us. He's on fire now. I think we were talking about it not having the track time, maybe disappointed, but he is ripping up these boards. He's soon going to have William Roberts in sight. We're just panning out now. There was very little between them earlier on today, as we previously mentioned. In fact, one tenth of a second between them. There's less than that. There's much more than that now. And John Archibald, flying that family flag, wants to, show everybody that he's still a force in this discipline.
Oh, he certainly is, and it's all relative, isn't it? We said earlier on when we were looking at some of the times and the PBs and what people had as expectations as individual riders within this competition, this championships, and actually, you can't do a disservice just to how quick these riders are going. I mean, John Archibald, again, absolutely phenomenal to watch, and he's putting down a stunning time here.
Yeah, just looking at it now, 3:11 with a standing start in 3,000 metres, so inside the last 4. Looks like he is going to catch William Roberts. I think it looks as if he's looking for a time. He's looking for the fastest time possible. He wants to come away with a better pursuit time possibly than he did earlier on. Maybe disappointed, but understandably. But he does look a little bit more dialed in here, and it's only a matter of time before he passes. And you want to pass on the straight rather than on the banking. You will lose a little bit more time, but just going into the slipstream now perfectly round the outsides of William Roberts. Still going a little bit further. He would want to come down very, very quickly, but just coming up to the belt lap for John Archibald. He's definitely going to take the 7th place, but the question is, what time is he going to get?
What time is he going to do it in?
Yeah, 4:06, half a lap to go now.
He wanted to get past as quickly as possible, didn't he, to put down that time to see what he can leave out there today.
Yeah, 4:16 earlier on today, 4:15, and does look as if the Welsh rider of William Roberts went considerably slower to 4:23, because he did do earlier on to do a 4:16, so a little bit of fatigue from the Welsh rider there, William Roberts, but a better performance from John Archibald there, and he'll come back, I think, to fight another day.
Taking a look back now at the position there of John Archibald, just a pleasure to watch on a bike. Again, so much understanding of getting as aero as possible, which is becoming just more and more and more prevalent now, as you know, the majority of the riders here will have looked at their position, because it just makes such a difference on the day.
When one of your good friends is Dan Bigham, you know, you can only concentrate in that part of the sport. I know a lot comes into it. We talk about the aerodynamics so much, but you know, the mentality as well, the training. We just mentioned, in fact, he's not had track time over the last 2 years. He's been riding, you know, some big races in Europe, and you know, it's not just one thing. It's not just aerodynamics. It's not just the mentality. It's not just the training. It's everything that is put into this. There's probably, you know, 4, 5, 6 things that have to come right in the day. Okay, it hasn't come right for John Archibald today in the National Championships. It might do again in the future. This was the record holder. It was beaten twice earlier on today by Charlie Tanfield and Dan Bigham, so the record now sits at 4:05. So, you know, just look as if Dan Bigham using that form. He is the British hour record holder. He took that from Bradley Wiggins, of course.
And I think in terms of it all coming together on the day, all the different elements you've discussed, you know, that's what you're looking at for an event like this. And actually, not every rider is going to always be peaking and pinging at absolutely you know, the same point in the calendar, are they? And we don't just say this at the National Championships. You know, riders come in with different levels of prep at different points in the season. So yeah, still a stellar performance.
As we see, no gate in the home straight, so Jonathan Whale has not turned up to ride off for 5th and 6th place. So we have in the black Will Perrott of Spellman Dublin Port Track Team, so he'll have an individual ride, and again he'll want to put on a show. We have got almost a capacity crowd here in Newport, so you can see the effort now. It's all about getting a time. It does look as if he will take that 5th place. Looks like Jonathan Whale, we don't have a reason why he's not turned up.
No.
Maybe a little bit disappointed and didn't want to ride off for the minor places.
Yeah, we don't,
looking at the medal.
We don't know. We'll look for confirmation on that, but yeah, it's interesting when you talk about the timings that people want, because at every level of competition we see riders wanting to continue to put down a time so often now, even when they've made a catch or they've clearly won the race. You know, it's all about putting down a time for various reasons in the sport, but yeah, we often see it.
So it can be quite lonely out there, but he just has to stick to the job. You know, he has got, you know, 4 kilometres to do on his own. I hope that the crowds get behind him. He's the only rider on the track, but you know, he's looking to come away from these championships in 5th place. But considering the talent we have got in men's pursuiting these days, that, you know, even to have 5th in the national championship is something to have.
It really is. And you look down the list of competitors today, yeah, we've got a few names missing here, but we've also got some of the biggest hitters. And actually, if you look at you know, when we've had these ride-offs in the men's pursuit here, John Archibald, Dan Bigham, Charlie Tanfield, Johnny Whale, you know, they were previously you know, part of the same formation for team pursuit, and are now of course in the individual event going against each other. So yeah, immense talent pool here.
Yeah, just in that previous lap, he just caught one of the sponges on the inside of the track. Sometimes you waver a little bit in the ears from that black line, the datum line, the pursuiting line. You want to keep as close to that as possible, but what we've seen in recent times, it's, you know, the riders will move up in the straights to the red line and back down again. It seems to be the other way. It's pushing Perrott down into the Côte d'Azur.
And we're seeing that refined more and more again, aren't we? And I know we see advancements in every element of cycling all the time. People looking for gains more and more and more. But yeah, it's been something where people aren't just necessarily just hugging that black line. They're looking for the smoothest possible line, the least loss that they can possibly make. And as this competition goes on, it's not easy to stay in that really extreme position and not waver from that line. It's a very tough task indeed to stay so neat.
Well, he's just coming up to almost 3 kilometres. Next time past the back straight line, he'll have 1 kilometre to go, 4 laps of the track. It's 3:13 for 3 kilometres. Still pretty smooth at this, so he looks consistent. Keeps dropping down in the stretch to that Côte d'Azur, but looks smooth, looks fast. 3 laps to go for William Perret of the Spellman Dublin Port Track team. And now what time can he put down? Earlier today did a 4:16. Can he improve in that, just like John Archibald did?
And the crowd's getting behind it, the atmosphere, getting into the evening towards the finals, and it actually does affect times, doesn't it? Because it affects that kind of psychology, that morale coming in, and you see people pull times out of the bag that they haven't done previously or earlier in the day, and in some cases today actually massive PBs.
It looks as if he could be quite consistent. 4:16 earlier on today, 4:16 this evening. I think slightly quicker than he did this morning by 0.2 of a second. So I think you have to be, happy with that consistent performance, not lacking in any fatigue, and just going that little bit faster. So William Perret in the black there will finish in 5th place in these championships. And we will quickly move on to the bronze medal ride-off between Kyle Gordon from Spellman Dublin Port Track team, the same team as Perret's, and Michael Gill of St Piran.
Seeing the start gates roll out onto the home straight and the back straight, and we were discussing standing starts earlier, weren't we, Brian, and just what it takes to get a purely massive gear rolling and up to speed from a completely standing start. And I think the first time that you start practicing these sort of static starts, it feels like such a dead weight to keep things going, get things going, especially with the gear ratios that these riders are getting onto now, and the strength training they're doing to get those out the gates and winding it up. But not only that, knowing that you can sustain that cadence for the duration of the pursuit to get the best time and the best schedule on the day.
Trying to get the crowd up, Kyle Gordon. And he'll be in the home straight. So this is a ride-off for the bronze medal. And Kyle Gordon earlier today did a 4:12.103. Michael Gill in the black from St Piran. And he was 1.6 seconds slower. 4:13.789. So you would expect the bronze medal to be going to Kyle Gordon with a 1.6 of a difference this morning, but as we talked about all the time, it is about recovery, it's about the mentality. Do you have the same belief, same concentration? Everything has to be right at the same time. Very difficult to do a pursuit this afternoon and then go for a medal tonight, but we're going to see what has Kyle Gordon got. He is the fastest of the duo, but anything can happen in the second ride.
Anything can happen, and yeah, backing up performances I think is what we have so much respect for, because you are not going out there to get a qualifying time thinking, well, you know, I'll leave some in the tank. Or very rarely we have competitors here that are able to do that. It's just a case of putting in the ride, you know, can seed you, can take you as far as possible, and backing that up again, and then trying to pull something even more special out of the bag in a final. So, yeah, this is no small feat to go away, recover, and back up these immense performances.
I think the motivation here, you know, we saw, you know, one rider not turning up before, riding for the minor places, but this is for a medal. And I think Kyle Gordon knows that. He can't be complacent, he can't, you know, sit back. You know, he will be given the information at the side of the track, what he has to do. And if he does like he did this morning and have these consistent laps, you can't get carried away. You have to concentrate on what you have to do. And, you know, if you've got anything left, we heard from Nia Evans in her interview that she went out fast the first half, and then she thought she kind of slowed a little bit towards the end. Well, she was actually putting time into her competitor towards the end, so if it happens to her, it can happen to anybody. So it's just keeping concentrating, keeping to the schedule. And, you know, so far so good for Kyle Gordon. He's almost half a second up. 1.6 of a difference between them earlier on this afternoon, but yeah, this is the battle for bronze.
And I think riders at this sort of level, this calibre, they know that as well, don't they? That actually you can never, ever let any complacency creep in, which is why we don't see it at this standard, because a rider knows anything can essentially happen on the day. We've mentioned all the elements that have to be perfectly in place. It's not just about coming in fit, not just about having an aero position, and actually that concentration and not losing it. And often with the likes of Nia Evans saying things like, it's about getting to a place of hurting, and then you just really try and hang on.
I think, you know, at this stage, and you know, we were talking that, you know, unlike, you know, road racing, I know in road racing double days are always kind of tough days and you don't often get them, but to get yourself fired up 100% for your effort this afternoon and then come out a few hours later and do exactly the same, it's a little bit like Groundhog Day, and you know, so mentally stressing for these riders.
It is, and that's often a big part of the sport that we don't necessarily see, is the less glamorous part, where they have to go through their warm down, get on the rollers, you know, focus on nutrition. And this is happening, as you say, and unlike the road, in a slightly different way. You know, these recovery periods can be very, very short. We've seen riders get back up from match sprints time and time again, and it's a very long day for these competitors. And the sheer effort, as mentioned, of the team pursuit up, the individual pursuit, and coming back and backing it up is huge. So it's always interesting to see riders just pull these times out consistently.
We're talking about pulling out. The time is pulling out to almost a second in the favour of Kyle Gordon, and it's just still holding there. Michael Gill 1.6 seconds slower earlier on today, and you know, now moving over a second. So slowly but surely the St Piran rider has been put to the sword by Kyle Gordon from Spelman Dublin Port Track Cycling, and Kyle Gordon looking good for this bronze medal. Yeah, a lot of people saying that Kyle Gordon was on superb form coming into these national championships. Again, we missed last year, we missed an edition of the championships, and now coming back to see exactly what riders have done in that time, and Kyle Gordon on absolute fire today. And of course, this is always going to be a really hard fought battle. There's a medal at stake, there's a bronze ride-off going on here, and yeah, Kyle Gordon looking very good indeed. Well, he did 4:12 this morning, and you know, he's looking good here. He's already, you know, over 2 seconds quicker than Michael Gill, so the bronze medal is there in his pocket. But what time can he do? Because, you know, these riders, it's all about time. It's all about improving that personal best, getting the best time. And I tell you what, he's going to be close to the time he did earlier on today.
Yeah, they want to take so much away, and you know, track riders always wanting to learn from a performance and put down a time and see what they can progress from there.
So Kyle Gordon, 4:14, a couple of seconds slower than he did earlier on, but he does enough to take that bronze medal, so he'll take that, considering the talent coming up in the final for the gold and silver. He'll take that. You see the smile on his face there, and there's another big effort there from Kyle Gordon. You said he was on form, and he's delivered an excellent performance there.
Yeah, knowing you're on form and coming in and actually executing it is another thing, and yeah, he'll be absolutely delighted with that. It was all at stake there for the bronze, and Kyle Gordon takes it away. So we'll see those start gates roll back out onto the home straight and back straight for a big finale.
Kyle Gordon looks as if he enjoyed that one.
Can you enjoy the pain of an individual pursuit?
Maybe not in it, but afterwards you can.
Afterwards, yeah, that's a good point. You can enjoy it afterwards. This will be the nice bit.
Really interested in seeing the next match. Kyle Gordon again, bronze medalist in the men's individual pursuits. Taking in the atmosphere here in the Geraint Thomas Velodrome. Right, I'm going to put you in the spot. New British record by Dan Bigham here. The British hour record holder, 4:05.274. In the back straight, we have got Charlie Tansfield from Ribblewell type pro cycling team, 4:08. Are we going to see a new British record?
Yes.
What time?
I think what was interesting is I scribbled down Filippo Ganna's overall record internationally, 4:01.934, and then of course coming into today John Archibald 4:09.584, and then we've already seen Dan Bigham go faster than Charlie Tanfield with a 4:05.274. So already seeing it just tumbling down closer, getting closer to Ganna. I'm going to call Bigham. Do you care to give the exact time?
Somewhere around, I would say, do a 4:04. He'll break the record, I think, 4:04. Okay, we're off and going. Dan Bigham, the new record holder in this event, taking it from John Archibald from 2019. Do you know that he was lapping? You didn't know he'd feel that good, but he was lapping at 14.3. That's incredible, really incredible. And the gear, just watch Dan Bigham as he goes round. You know, he started a little bit slower than Charlie Tanfield. Charlie Tanfield is the quickest out the block for the moment. But once Dan Bigham gets this gear going, he crunches a huge gear. I think it might be a 110-inch gear, maybe slightly more. It's a huge gear he's churning away. But for the moment, Tanfield is well up in this competition so far.
Yes, and I think it's very hard to put into context just how quick it is to lap at the lap times that Dan Bigham is backing up lap after lap. And just to give a little bit of context, British hour record holder now with 54.723 kilometres, and I think going for bigger and better next time in the prep he's got. But he's also with Ineos Grenadiers now as performance engineer, so he knows exactly what to do to get a performance that he needs out and to actually keep going for records.
Well, he's given 1.4 away to Charlie Tanfield, and Charlie is an exceptional talent, but we talked about winding the gear up, and Daniel Bigham is winding this gear up, and it's coming down the whole time. And I'm just thinking of this British, he might run out of laps. He's just getting faster and faster and faster. I was talking to a couple of people. He didn't think he would be feeling as good. He is an aerodynamicist. You say he works for Ineos. He was the person that it kind of flipped team pursuiting on its head. They came out, they had their the team that they have, the hub design team, and then these teams are kind of banned by the UCI competing at the highest level. And it's incredible what they did. Innovative, brilliant, and now we're seeing this gap coming down to half a second. Charlie Tanfield went out super quick. Was that a tactic? Was that to ruffle the feathers off Dan Bigham? They both know each other so well, but it looks as if Dan Bigham is on top of this gear. This gap is coming down. Yeah,
these two riders done team pursuit together many, many times, as you say. They know each other like the back of their hands, and psychology plays such a huge part. Charlie Tanfield, Dan Bigham, riders that train together, race together, have done team pursuit together, and both absolutely just basically smashed through qualification times earlier, setting 2 new British fastest records.
Charlie Tanfield's putting a bit more of a fight on. It was coming close, I thought, but it's gone back out again. 0.8. This is going to be a nail biter. So Tanfield went out quick. Now he's paired back, and now it looks as if, you know, pushing back out again. So Dan Bigham well on top of this one. You know, we are inside the last kilometre here. I might have to get off my seat for this one, because this is going to be tantalisingly close. Dan Bigham is on a mission here, and he is absolutely ripping up this track.
We're getting very, very excited up here at the Velodrome in Wales, aren't we? And these riders, they've both changed the game. They've shaken things up. They've looked at a science perspective. They've done things differently. And here they both are in this medal ride-off.
Just looking now, and you know, we are going to be very close here. We're going on to the Bell Lap, and just look at this time. This is going to be mightily close. If he's doing a 14.3, this is going to be a mightily close time here. I'm not too sure the record is going to go, but it's been a valiant effort from both riders on the track. The record doesn't happen this time, but it's another 4:05.962. That is the second quickest time. He went 4:05.274 earlier to break the British record, and comes up tonight, and he's only 0.7 off that record to take. So the record didn't go, but what did go was the British title to this man here, Dan Bigham.
Dan Bigham, no stranger to national stripe. You can see what that means. He secured it again, up against a rider, a pure talent that he knows very, very well. People that rode the last national championships together in the team pursuit, and both, you know, heading off head-to-head on opposite sides of the track. And all smiles for Dan Bigham, another national jersey to the collection.
I love that effort there. You know, sometimes you get, you know, these individual efforts that don't always entertain, but that really entertained. The fact that Charlie Tanfield went out there, he went out there with a rocket up his backside, and Dan Bigham just sat there in this big gear, rolled it around, and eventually surpassed him. But look at the time of Charlie Tanfield, 4:07.972. He goes even quicker than he did this morning, the 3rd fastest time, national time. So the record, the first and second times today of Daniel Bigham. You know, he breaks that record, new record, but Charlie Tanfield, no disgrace there. Silver medalist, but sets an even faster time and a personal PB there. Nothing else you can do in the final, but Daniel Bigham takes this. Tanfield is in second place as we move swiftly on to the women's sprint.
Very exciting in here. Oof. Take a deep breath. 2 new records today.
So Finnegan at the back here, and she is 1-0 up against Laurie Thomas for Team Wales. And we said earlier on, Laurie Thomas in the black helmet here, she didn't do too much wrong. I think she has to do the same thing and possibly try and kind of lead this one out. And I think that's why they're rolling on at some pace here. She wants to keep that front position.
Yeah, and riders quite often come in with a position that they favour. They always favour, and then you've got riders that know each other very well. They have to mix it up a little bit more when they spend time training together. And yeah, I mean, I don't think we've seen anyone make a big mistake here. It's been very, very close, and as you say, it is a case of just really keeping an eye on not getting caught out tactically going into these match sprints now, and we're really, really at the important sharp end.
Yeah, doing a good job, Thomas. Finnegan trying to push her down, not she's staying high. She said she's going to keep her up, dives down, totally committed now inside the red sprinters line. What is Finnegan left in the tank? Comes down into the slipstream. Has she got enough? She comes out that sprinter's line but doesn't impede. This is going to go down to the wire. It's going to be close.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not calling that one. I am not calling
very, very close to call. I don't know if Emma Finnegan took that one with a lunge on the line. Let's see when we get confirmation of that result. 61.93 kilometres an hour. That last 200, 11.626.
Yeah, she's taking that one. So 2-0 Finnegan. And a great result there for the Welsh, or both Welsh, but Emma Finucane forced into the hard way of coming round both times, both close finishes, but Emma Finucane moves through, and you know, she'll be the bronze medal winner here in a 2-0. Best of 3, but coming down, it was very close to call this one. A good effort from Lowry Thomas. We come up to the line. I just think enough in it at the very end, possibly just the throw there. Very, very close in the end, maybe, you know, 3 or 4 inches, but I think Emma Finucane can be happy with that bronze medal.
Certainly can, yeah. Both did everything they could there, and Emma Finucane just putting in consistently incredible performances today to take that.
Well, Ryan Edmonds at the back here. She is the rider to beat. She's 1-0 up against Sophie Capewell for Team Breeze. Capewell was the rider that led out in the previous heat, forcing Edmonds to come round, and I think that has to be the same tactic. But looking at this now, is she trying to force Edmonds to go to the front now?
It's, it looks to be that way when you've got riders just going this slow towards track standing. And here we go. I think this is our first track stand of the National Championships this year. Capewell, they're just going into that static position, and it is about forcing the rider into a position they don't want to be in, depending on where you want to be yourself.
I really did think maybe she's thinking of the same tactic before, of keeping the height and rushing at Edmonds and kind of leading out the last 200 metres. So maybe that's the tactic. That's what she did before. But definitely, I think if Capewell wants to put this at the decider, she has to be at the front coming into the last 200 metres.
Yes, and we're looking at race 1, 2 and a potential decider. So yeah.
She hasn't done it. She tried to do it. She's got a lot to do now. Edmonds powering down the back straight, going down the long way is Capewell, but I'm not too sure she's going to make it. Edmonds is coming. Capewell, oh, she does it. Capewell, where did that come from?
Oh, one each.
Where did that come from? Just when we're getting all excited and come down after the men's pursuit, we're getting this. It goes to a decider just when I thought that Ryan Edmonds was the stronger of the two. Just don't listen to what I say. That was incredible. I think Edmonds is the only rider that's come with some dominance round the banking the long way down the straight, and this is going to be a decider. Can't wait for that. Oh,
it's getting very, very exciting indeed. Of course, that was the second out of 3, and it's currently 1-1. Who will take the decider out of Sophie Capewell and Ryan Edmonds?
Well, Edmonds won the first one in 11.337. That was slightly slower than 11.633. So, you know, possibly fatigue setting in because it's been a long day for everybody. So this, just when I thought that Ryan Edmonds was a shoe-in, Sophie Capewell comes up and takes it to the final heat, which incredible racing there from Sophie Capewell.
And that's match sprinting, isn't it? I always say the cliche of how unpredictable it is, but it is unpredictable. Must nod back to the qualification times over 200, which seems many, many hours ago for us, and we're not the ones back out on that track time and time again fighting towards a final medal. So yeah, just to back up these performances, as we've said, throughout such a long day, and to be still so tactically astute and aware is phenomenal.
So we're just moving on to the medal ceremony of the para-cycling mixed 10 kilometre scratch race. The bronze medal position, we just heard Martin Hailstone of Chapeau Vive la Velo. William Bearpair from St Piran gets the silver medal in this new event. But the winner and new champion is Finlay Gentleman from Paraty. I think you have to say that was well deserved. He'll treasure this gold medal in this inaugural event to go with his 2 silver medals in Tokyo. Will Bierfair looking on, wishing that he could have that jersey, but
We could have done something about Finn Graham, but yeah, I mean, these coveted national stripes, you can't say enough how important it is to these riders to pull that on their shoulders, to put that medal on. It's incredibly special, that British jersey.
And for me, a special mention to Martin Hailstone for Chapeau Vive la Velo for making it very entertaining in the last couple of laps.
Yes, I'd already decided the result, and he came back and made for such an intense finale.
Yeah, it was a good event, and it's one of these events that it never stayed together. It kept on breaking up. The first two were kind of looking at each other, and from nowhere. At one point they were almost caught. They were almost lapped, and never gave up. And it was really nice to see. They both worked well together. That was Hailstone that got the bronze, and obviously David Murphy. But we're just going to throw to the infield for our next interview.
Congratulations, well done. That was certainly a lot going on in that final. Can you talk us through the race from your perspective?
Yeah, no, it was an exciting race to be a part of. I knew that Bergie, all I could do was try take him to a sprint and hope that I would be able to outkick him, because there was no chance I was going to ride away from him. So it worked quite nicely, and it kind of all came back together a couple laps ago and made it quite exciting, and I was able to use that to my advantage a little bit.
Great. Well, you certainly got the tactics right. How does it feel to win a national championship?
Oh, it's nice. Yeah, it's really good. It's my first one on the track actually, so it's nice to get a jersey on the track and a good way to start the weekend.
Great. Well done.
Perfect.
Good luck for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Shall we go sprinting again? The men's team sprints final. This is for the bronze medal. Sharp event, and we will have the ride off for the bronze medal with Glasgow Track Racing Club A team, and they will be in the home straight, although they're very far from home. On the back straight we will have Enhanced in the grey, Benjamin Gill, Bo Mayer, Sam Smith. The home straight will have Lutheus Arthur, Niall Monks, Anthony Young.
On track for this bronze medal final. Head straight.
So technique and power in this one. I think in team sprinting that, and I think we've seen this at Olympic level with Team GB in the past, that when we get into the final that everything goes right, they can do amazing things, and I think it can be said here, it doesn't really matter what times you've done already today, it's what you do here now.
It does, and again the psychology comes into play so much, because it's very easy.
Sorry, Rebecca, a slip there from Glasgow there, which will not help them, especially the man one, because man one has to really put the power down and get this team up to speed. So it was a bit of a slip there, and they just have to carry on. There's nothing else they can do about it. So yeah, a little bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, you're right. At this point, you've just got to get your head down and just keep going. It's tremendously tough when you have a setback and something throws you off a little bit like that. But yeah, it's just got to be still focused on left out on the track. But yeah, not what you want in the start when it's just kind of come down to such split seconds, such.
It's going to be close. Whoa. Glasgow were up there, it looked like, so it does look like just was looking down into the track centre there. The coach was pointing at the line there, just waiting for confirmation on that, but it did look to me as if Glasgow managed to pip that. It was close in the end. It was just that slip I was saying about getting everything right, and unfortunately the Glasgow team had that slip. Just waiting for confirmation on that result, but it was close in the end as expected. So that just mistake or slip, there's not a lot you can do. You just have to kind of concentrate. We've seen riders kind of fall off and kind of do things and restart, but difficult one.
It's so hard, isn't it? Because everything in your mind is telling you that you just want to stick your hand up and go, that's not how I wanted that to go, let's go again. But of course in that scenario it's not always possible.
Yeah, just announced there, or is it in the graphic, that Glasgow got that one. It was Glasgow Track Racing Team 18, 46.821, enhanced 47.241, so only 0.4. I knew it was close in the end. You could see that the coach was pointing at the line, but that was heart-stopping stuff at the start there, making that mistake. But they shone through, and Glasgow Track Racing Club A team will take that bronze medal back to Glasgow.
It is, and like so many things at this level, it's about just carrying on, isn't it? And actually just finding a way to very, very immediately and quickly park something that's gone wrong on the day. Because, you know, we've talked so much about the importance of every element coming together, and when it doesn't, you really just want to stuff and start again. But as I say, that's not always possible.
Right, who are you going for in this one? Are you going for the young guns or are you going for the old boys? Can't really say old because they're all young. But
we've got to be careful here.
We've got Team Inspired here, and you see that they have got Jack Carling, Ali Fielding and Joe Truman. In the back straight, the young under-23 European champions from Team East Midlands. You have got James Bunting, Harry Ledham-Horn and Hayden Norris.
Yeah, well, I have been incredibly inspired by Team Inspired, the reigning champions in this event, indeed, of the men's team sprint. And yeah, I mean, the intense talent you've got in here, Jack Carlin, and yeah, it's going to be special to see this ride off.
They do these starts in their sleep, don't they? They just, you know, totally focused in this. Both teams well drilled. You know, this is you know, world level stuff here, and you know, already 0.2 up. Team Inspired in the green. Jack Carling will be coming up in that Lotus bike. Not a lot in it at this moment, and I wouldn't expect this. But you know, the young guns of Team East Midlands going a little bit further back. It's what time they're going to lay down here. So onto the belt, Team Inspired in the green still in the lead as it pushes out to 0.8. So it looks like it's going to be gold for Team Inspired. The silver going to Team East Midlands. They come up to set a time of 43.852. That is the quickest we have seen today, Rebecca. Yeah. Just over 1 second faster than the team from East Midlands.
And talking about being well drilled in those starts, and they will do whole sessions on starts, won't they? It's so important to just get every element correctly slotted together, and that's why those starts for both of those teams are so neat, because they drill it into the riders day in, day out. They're not leaving that to chance. They know exactly what to do to get out of that gate with the unleashing of as much power as possible. That was really entertaining to watch, and both teams, yeah, very well versed in this discipline.
The only start I used to do on a regular basis is the my breakfast called start, and promoting that used to be Robert Miller, who Philippa York is here now.
Love start. Does start still exist?
I don't
if
think
not,
so.
Bring back start.
Yeah, as expected in this competition. Scintillating performance here. Very strong start. Look, you can see the power, so much torque. Slightly smaller gear than the rest. That's why, you know, the gap opens. But that's how they ride team sprint these days. Jack Carling from Paisley in second position there, but you know, that's just a huge effort there. It's incredible the amount of power that these guys can produce.
Yeah, and then just seeing that replay in slow motion really shows just how directly these riders can put the power through the pedals, doesn't it? And every element of the way they're pulling and pushing is direct power transfer. There's no waste of energy there getting that gear going. You mentioned Paisley, a lot of talent, a lot of cycling talent to come out of Paisley.
Yeah, it's good to see they're actually producing. They've never done much in the past, but they're producing a lot of talent now. I think Jack Callan has to be the, one of the most successful things coming out of Paisley. Maybe the second. I think the first is the Paisley pattern, of course.
I think we're going to be jumping around out of our seats, aren't we, for this next sprint coming up?
Not a lot of time, is there, between efforts like that? And both of these efforts have been pretty much down to the wire.
It is a very short recovery, and I know it's something we've mentioned a few times, but it is because it is so staggering how quickly the riders just go absolutely full gas. And actually, when you look back at qualifying times, and then you look at times that they're doing in the match sprint, these are not getting slower.
Well, I'm going local. I'm going for the Newport girl. I'm going Ryan Edmonds for Team Wales. So you're only left with one choice. You're going with
Thank you, Brian.
Sophie Capewell.
Okay.
I'm going Celtic.
And that's fair, because it has been so close. One match sprint each so far in this finale. So this is going to be down to the wire, and a very, very exciting one indeed.
Okay, so Edmonds at the front, followed by Capewell. I think the experience for me is Capewell. If she gets the tactics right, she can do it. I think the fastest shown so far in these championships is Rhiannon Edmonds at the front. She has less experience, of course, but is she tiring? That's the thing. Capewell was able to come round her. Slightly slower sprint in the first one, so definitely going to the wire, this one.
This is taking a huge amount of firepower, but a huge amount of concentration. It's so close, and when it's like this, you can't let yourself be caught napping. You can't let the gap go, and each of these riders will not take a glance off each other.
This is for the gold. Can Wales pull it off? The local girl from Newport, Capewell, starting to kind of push. She wants Edmonds to open up. She's not. She's staying high in the track. Staying high. 200 metres to go, she dives down. Now Capewell has to use all the power she's got to come round the outside. Edmonds hanging on, the youngster from Newport, the local girl. Can she hang on in the straight? She's coming, she's going to do it. She's going to do it for Newport, she's going to do it for Wales. She comes in 2-1, she is the new national champion, and just look how much that means to her. Maybe slipped up a little bit in the second heat there, but that was a dominant display there in the sprint by the young 18-year-old girl from Newport. Rhiannon Edmonds, take a lap, because you deserve that. The new national sprint champion of Great Britain.
It almost looked like a bit of a look of disbelief and sort of elation on her face there, didn't it? And what a convincing victory there. We said it was going to be so close, but she absolutely committed everything there. Sophie Capewell again. These two came into the start of the day, the fastest two, sub-11, 200 flying qualification, 1-2 there. And to come right through all the match sprints and to take it to a decider. This wasn't a 1-2 decider. It went to the third match sprint, and Rhiannon Edmonds there. This will mean a tremendous amount, and yeah, we couldn't be happier for her. What a victory.
Yeah, moments to savour. She's got a big career, and well done to the coaching staff at Welsh Cycling and also British Cycling, because she's on the British Cycling Academy. We've had some really talented sprinters coming from Wales, and continues on, but we're going to continue on here in Newport for the men's pursuits ceremony. The bronze medal in the 4,000 metre individual pursuits goes to Kyle Gordon of Spelman Dublin Port Track.
Winner of the silver medal, representing Ribble World Title. The
silver medal
Charlie Tanfield.
With another fantastic time goes to Charlie Tanfield, Ribble World Title Pro Cycling. He did a time of 4:07 and 9:72. 4:08 earlier in qualifying. But the new record holder and national champion is Dan Bigham, BC member. A time of 4:05, 9:62. He already broke the national record earlier. What else can this man do?
That's exactly what I was just thinking, Brian. I think he always wants bigger, he always wants better. He's only 30 years old, he's already joined the ranks of Ineos Grenadiers to bring his scientific background to that. He's still competing at this level and winning national championship titles himself. And of course, we've mentioned that he is the British hour record holder and he wants more. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see in the next year or so.
I think his partner must be pushing him a little bit. But Dan Bigham takes gold. Charlie Tanfield takes the silver with a nice photo on the podium there, with Kyle Gordon taking a nice bronze medal there. But
and a nice selfie.
Yes, when you look at Philip Ogana, it just oozes power. Dan Bigham, you look at him, he doesn't ooze that power, but he just gets everything right. And you know, it's incredible to find out from the infield today that he didn't think he would feel as good as this, and sometimes these happen. We talked about the aerodynamics, we talked about the training and things like that, but sometimes that, you know, when you get out there, just things happen. Sometimes you have bad days, but that was a good day from Dan Bigham there, and well deserved. A new national champion and a new national record.
And sometimes riders are being cagey, aren't they, in pre-race interviews, but actually sometimes they are genuinely not expecting to have everything come together on the day and are so pleasantly surprised. I think we can hear from Dan Bigham now.
Okay, hi Dan, congratulations. Talk us through your tactics for the race and how it went.
I think they both went really well. Obviously qualifying was, I think, a bit of a shock, to be honest, for myself. I knew I had the national record in me if it all went well, and to take 4 seconds out of John was pretty awesome. And I've always struggled backing up, and I've really focused on that. I haven't actually raced an IP in 2 years, since pre-COVID. And it's been 5 years since I've worn this jersey, so yeah, it was high on the agenda to get it back. And yeah, from a ride perspective, I paced it really well. I went out really carefully and then gave it a good kick at about six to go, and took that gap back on Charlie, and yeah, took the lead.
Congratulations. Well, I was going to say you've won one of these before, but it must feel great after a couple of years to get back out there on the boards and win a national championships jersey.
Absolutely, yeah. I came close in the road time trial last year, yeah. Just narrowly missing out with Ethan Hayter beating me. So yeah, I really want to get another jersey on my back. It's been so long, and yeah, the IP, I love it.
Great, congratulations. Good luck for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you, cheers.
I don't think many people can say that. I love the individual pursuit.
It's what we were saying earlier, isn't it? Can you possibly enjoy that in the process? Perhaps afterwards, when you've cooled down and contemplated just how hard it was.
Oh, good on him, because he's got his day job as well with Team Ineos, and you know, looking after that, and you know, they must look at Dan Bigham with a lot of respect. You know, he's working hard with them and going out and actually, you know, doing it. So, you know, it's good to see him, and that kind of motivates him to continue on doing what he's doing, and you know, trying to kind of push the boundaries. I do have to say that, you know, well done to Charlie Tanfield, because you know, he went faster today. Any other championships, even without Dan Bigham, he would have taken the national title. So, you know, a lot of respect for all these riders that finished on the podium today.
Yeah, it's so true, and what's been really interesting to watch with these riders is pushing each other on more and more, isn't it? Because actually, as you say, with Tanfield there, you know, on another day he would have taken the victory, but he'll take away from this that it's just pushed him even further. Dan Bigham then pushes further. So yeah, I think that's what's been great about this team of riders that have come through as friends and teammates at points, is that they are just pushing each other on so much to push those boundaries and do something a bit different.
Yeah, we're just as we're watching Dan, we're just waiting for the next medal ceremonies. Need to chase up a few of these Tim sprinters. It's not like them to be slow, Rebecca. Well, where are they? Get up on that podium.
They're resting.
She's been resting. One of them's only doing a lap of the track. It's over 17-second effort. Yeah, you can just see them in the infield just getting ready, getting organised. Very enthusiastic crowd tonight. Enjoy their Friday night. What else would you want to do on a Friday night?
Brilliant to have a bit of track racing back on a Friday night, isn't it? We've gone so long without being able to be in venue, and yeah, it's pretty special to see people back in live in an arena, in a velodrome, watching the track racing, and to have these championships back.
See, always relying that the Glasgow boys, they're first up there. There they are. Glasgow racing team, the A team. It's 3 teams. A lot can be said of the Chris Hoy Velodrome in Glasgow. And I can totally understand why so many riders would ride in a velodrome. In my day, I never had too much of a choice. 46 hours in the rain and the wind, or riding in a warm velodrome. It's quite enticing, and it's no strange factor that we are producing some good talent up there in Scotland on the track.
Yeah, and we're of course in the Geraint Thomas Velodrome now, aren't we, over in Wales? And you just mentioned Sir Chris Hoy's Velodrome, and it really does impact. It does bring the talent through and inspire. And having all these incredible indoor velodrome venues is a far cry from where it was. And well, when you and I both would have raced on the track, it was predominantly outdoors in the UK. So to have these resources now bringing through this pool of talent is, yeah, it's really advanced on from where it was.
Oh, they're fighting now over the seats. It's like, play that music, and when the music stops, there's going to be one seat taken away. I think they only thought there was going to be 3 in a team, so they put out 9 seats. And
yeah, they're sharing now.
There's 4 in 2 of these.
It's okay. It's not like they've got big legs.
Yeah, it's been good racing tonight. More to come, of course, over the next couple of days in Newport, South Wales.
Yeah, you can't say that we haven't packed a lot in, can you, today? We've seen, qualification heats going into heats, into ride-offs, into finals, and it's all been happening today, and we're going to continue that for the next 2 days. It's pretty exciting.
Actually, speaking to a few people in the infield, because a lot of cyclists getting into cycling, especially youngsters, it's, oh, my mum or dad did it, or my dad did it, and but no, it's changing now. Cycling is changing. There's a lot of people just trying it and liking it, and not having any history. No, I've got plenty of history. My mum and dad were cyclists. My father-in-law was an ex-Olympic cyclist as well. He had more titles than me. He had 8 titles to my 2 titles, but in one of my titles I went further than all of his track titles. But yeah, it's a lot of people just getting into cycling because it's on television, they like it and they want to try it. It's not easy, of course, but the long may that continue, that people want to try it, because you never know, even doing another sport.
Couldn't agree more. So much more accessible pathways now, and I certainly wouldn't have discovered track cycling way back then, or cycling at all, without a family link. And as you say, these inspirational venues, the velodromes named after the greats in the sport, and so many pathways in from grassroots right up to people that want to compete at this level.
And so the bronze medals goes to the Glasgow Track Racing Team A, Lucius Arthur, Niall Monks and Anthony Young. So well deserved for the 3 teams that came down in numbers and have taken a bronze medal away. That's harsh, just showing them the jerseys that you could have won in front of you. But the silver medals going to the youngsters, Team East Midlands, James Bunting, Marcus Hilly, Harry Ledingham Horn and Hadley Norris. But the favourites have won the day. The gold medal going to Jack Carling, Ali Fielding, Joe Truman and Hamish Turnbull. That's another national championship stripes going back to Paisley.
You didn't want to mention that, did you?
No. I'm a proud buddy.
Well, it's worthy to be proud. They came in as the favourites, as you say, and actually defending champions from 2 years ago when we last saw the British National Championships held. And Team Inspired came in, inspired and defended, and here they are taking their jerseys and their gold medals today after a brilliant ride, sailing through qualification and going all the way to the final.
And so the podium of the men's team sprint, Team Inspired in gold, Team East Midlands in the silver, and Glasgow Track Racing Club A team in the bronze. I think that's a bit unfair because Glasgow only had 3 while the others had 4. What do you think? Come on, look at Jack, he's bullying them. He's like, come on, get up. One for the album.
Yeah, a lovely way to cap off the first day of these championships.
They're enjoying it, aren't they?
They are enjoying it, and it's brilliant to see. Love to see that.
One youngster's, oh, look at them. Look at that, putting the flowers on their faces and everything. As you said, they'll know each other and train with each other, and yeah, it's nice. You know, I've won individual championships, but there's nothing better than standing on a podium with friends in a team competition.
It really is, and these riders have to gel. They have to spend a lot of time together getting this so well drilled at this level, and yeah, it's really nice to see them sharing in that victory and that success together and having a bit of fun with their competitors as well.
So we're almost there. We have got an interview with Inspired, so be inspired by Inspired.
Okay, congratulations guys, well done. Talk us through the final there.
I did not ride in the final, so it's often
Not you.
Yeah, it was a tidy ride. Yeah, we're here in a pretty hard training block, so we just want to get technically nice, and I think we did that in the end, so we're fairly happy with that.
Yeah, happy to be wearing the national jersey now for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the only day we ever actually wear it, but yeah, it's nice.
And what's next for you guys this weekend?
I think sprint tomorrow here on Sunday.
Well, good luck. Well
Thank
done.
you.
National champions today. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
Yep, they're happy with that. Some national stripes to take home.
Not a bad day at the office.
But it's the people behind the team. I'm not just talking about the staff and things like that. That means a lot to them to come here. But also to, you know, friends and family at home, because, you know, to some of these young cyclists, they wouldn't be here without, you know, the support of their families, you know, through the ups and downs. I'm not saying any cyclist has it easy by any means. It's, you know, a lot of ups and downs, and, you know, they've got through it. They've got a long way in their career if they continue at it, but I've been really impressed with a lot of rides today. But one thing I am impressed with is Ryan Edmonds, the local girl.
Medal ceremony for the 2022 British Cycling
It's the parts that the rest of us don't see, isn't it? It's the family behind these riders. It's the commitment, as you say, of volunteers and staff, and it all comes together on the day, and it's yeah, mightily special.
So the final podium of the day, the women's sprint award ceremony.
representing Team Wales, Emma Finnecane.
The bronze medal going to Emma Finnecane of Team Wales, winning her bronze medal against Laurie Thomas of Team Wales 2-0. But it's silver for Sophie Capewell of Team Breeze, who fought hard, took it to a decider in the end. I think tactically got it spot on, just came up a little bit short, but a well-deserved silver medal for Sophie Capewell. But their champion, 18-year-old from Newport, their home girl, Ryan Edmonds of Team Wales, winning for the first time and maybe not for the last, because really impressed Not only does she ride for Wales, but also in the British Cycling Academy. So Rhiannon Edmonds of Team Wales taking the championship gold, and the jersey goes with it. New ground for Ryan, not too sure what to do, but I'm sure this will be one of many.
Yeah, what a moment for Edmonds, and setting that fastest qualifying time many hours ago, backing it up, tactically playing it cool, keeping that level of recovery, concentration, and this is her moment to soak in, isn't it?
Yeah, some brilliant sprinting across the board here. And just like you say, we came into these championships with a bit unknown. The championships weren't held last year, so, you know, to come out, I'm not saying from nowhere, but putting the hard yards in through lockdown has paid dividends for Ryan Edmonds.
So that concludes the action here.
And a lot can change in 2 years, can't it? And keeping the focus during lockdown.
Okay, congratulations. Can you talk us through the final there?
Well, it was pretty hard because obviously, I mean, I won the first race and then you kind of have a bit of confidence going into the second, but Sophie rode so well in the second race and I just thought, oh man, it's gone to 3, this is going to be so tough, but I was just like, tried to keep it fast and it worked out in the end, which is amazing.
Great, and it was almost an all-Welsh podium there, but
Yeah.
How does it feel to win a national championship here in Newport?
Yeah, well, I live about 15 minutes away, so it's just wonderful to win at home. It's like, you know, might never be in Newport again, so for it to take the chance to win at home is just amazing.
Brilliant, well done. Congratulations. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you, thank you.
Absolutely incredible day for the first day here at the National Championships, to finish with, you know, our local girl living 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
You know, she could almost, you know, just go home and, you know, see her family, but I'm sure her family will be in the crowd. But thanks for joining myself and Rebecca Charlton today. It's a big weekend coming up for track cycling here in Newport. Don't forget to join us, and thank you for joining us this evening.